You got 2 minutes yet. It's not exactly 1 o'clock. Well, it is by my computer. Now it is.
Yeah, according to YouTube, it is.
Yep, it says it's waiting for you. So
Okay, yep, we're live on YouTube now. So, hello.
Let me.
Damn, we're getting an echo again.
There it go.
Okay, welcome to our first Midday Mid-America. And I'm wondering if I need to close my window here. If I'm getting too much background noise.
I don't
think so.
anything.
Well, there was
I
a
heard the
truck
truck,
idling
but-
out there a minute ago, but it just left.
I don't know, but
that-
don't ask me about hearing.
Okay, there
and
we
because
go.
when I live in the apartment next door, you get an echo. So
No, actually, we were getting echo because I had not muted YouTube yet. So,
and I meant the truck.
Dang. You done with cuddles? Just done with cuddles.
Come on now.
yeah, I got my kitty deciding whether or not he's going to settle down or if he's just going to keep knocking the keyboard out of my lap.
You know, type. You pay attention to me.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what Samson's saying? Why the heck you up so early?
Dude! I will be right back.
Okay. Okay, in the side chat, we've got Gregory Nietzsche. Says it's 8 p.m., so.
And Orla and Case and Bad Tempered Badger. Badger.
Oh, Badger.
No mushrooms.
You're certainly welcome to come in if you want to. I thought you were on the list to get the link, but if you didn't get one, I can send you one in Twitter.
Damn it.
And Case is working on patches for a quilt. So Sloth Girl's done some quilting.
Hit once. Well, more than once, but not my preferred method of craft.
No, but you've done other projects with quilt squares.
Yeah. Orla says we're very quiet. Does that mean our mics aren't loud, or just that we don't talk a whole lot?
I think it's a combination.
Huh?
I think it's a combination.
Yeah, I'll turn mine up as loud as I can, but better? Oh, wow, that's loud.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't. For some reason, Google Hangouts doesn't want to work on my computer, so I can't really control the output levels.
Really?
Yeah, well, the little thing on the side that says control room, I can click on that all day and nothing ever happens. It just keeps kind of going through the bars like it's going to open, but it will continue in that pattern that it's going to open for 8 hours and never actually open the control panel.
Okay, Case says he can hear us all. Orla, maybe you need to turn your volume up a little. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not adjusting my mic because for whatever reason, my mic has not been working the past couple days, and I've been using like my computer mic apparently.
Well, everybody sounds normal from where I'm sitting.
Yeah, it sounds good to me too. Oh, it's another lovely day here. I gotta go open some more windows. It was getting loud last night. Another bar fight last night. Out there screaming at 2 freaking o'clock in the morning. And that wouldn't be so bad if it was just the drunks coming home from the bar, but they get in the fight with the people downstairs that are smoking out in front of our building. So then it turns into a big dumpster fire.
Well, pretty much this town is so dead that rush hour is actually bar closing.
Yeah, I swear the cops would make $1 million if they just sit outside the bar. But the cops probably sitting there drinking with them. Damn it! Oh, there it is.
Well, besides, they don't want to do that to family.
Yeah, no kidding. Dad, we keep going over this. I'm not gonna keep arresting you. Dang it!
So, Aaron,
That's
what's
how
been
small
going
our
on with
town
you?
is.
How are you guys getting settled into your new house?
This is my room. / workstation. I heard a magical thing was done.
Oh, is this thing on?
Yeah, Pure.
Hi, Pure.
Awesome.
Hi,
I got it working. I had to switch.
Were you having a problem with your mic there?
Yeah, well, the headphones on the other computer, but yeah.
And Cirrus is here.
Yay!
Thanks for joining us.
How's it going, Purple? Also, the rice cooker that you sent has gotten use.
Still doing it. He's still not at his desk if his camera's on.
Cirrus, I think you've still got your mic off.
How about now? Oh, wait a minute.
Aaron, tell Cyrus he's got his mic off.
I think he's working on it. The mute icon went off, but he's still not hearing him. Yep, Cirrus, we're still not hearing you.
I thought I was going to be the one needing tech support, but hey.
I mean, I can hear Cirrus.
No? Well, I guess because you're in the same house with him.
How about now?
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
There we go. Yay, Google Hangouts for being a broken program. Also, Sloth Girl.
You got to learn to leave plushy Cirrus on your seat when you're not there. Yes.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello,
How's it
Wonder
going?
Lady.
How's it going, Faye?
Everything's fine. How are you?
Hello,
Hey.
Faye.
Hey, Faye.
I forgot Wonder Lady's name. I forgot your name. I'm sorry.
Faye.
It's fine. It's fine. I sometimes forget my own name.
I also forget my own name.
Well, I had
Well, how often do you call yourself by name?
Yeah.
every time I meet someone new.
Well, we live in a town of 3,000 people. We never meet anybody new.
Every time I look at that plushie and have to have conversation with it and pretend I'm not insane.
I love the
Yeah.
plushie, by the way. I love it. Hi, Badger.
Badger, badger, badger.
Badger? Goodness me, everyone from England has the same accent.
Badger, 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 badger,
Lol.
But Badger's
badger,
but Badger's not here.
No.
That's pure
Oh,
extension.
Yeah, we've got
Sounds the
Pure in
same.
here.
Sounds almost exactly the same as Badger, but no, it's not Badger.
That's how you can tell I'm also not watching.
Yeah, Badger's in the side chat.
Badger, I thought you said you were coming on.
Yeah, yeah, soon, he said.
Badger, both first and I are eating food. There is always room for people to eat.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Bear in
having
mind,
a peanut
No, I
butter,
feel tacky.
a peanut butter Pearson salted nut roll. They're not that great.
That sounds quite good.
They used to be.
I want food now.
Yeah, but not the
Thank you.
peanut butter ones. They're not so great. The regular ones are awesome.
Has anyone taken my advice and added the diva.
Added what?
The diva?
Not sure who you're referring to there.
Angie Rowland, the diva,
Mm.
is like a atheist of 8 years, living in Texas, in her 50s, absolutely a doll. Oh, you'll love her.
Okay, don't think I've encountered her yet.
I'll copy her thing and do another FF, like hashtag FF. Because people don't
Want
do
to see
that
it
only
again,
on
Case?
Friday anymore. Sorry.
Well, with all the just general noise on Twitter, I don't generally follow the public stuff because most of it's just drama and dumpster fires anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a topic that we wanted to go over?
Yeah, you should.
We could go with that.
Okay, so I can go ahead and throw. So maybe it's just that if any of you haven't seen the channel Vosh, warning, he's very verbose.
Mhm.
In some of the worst ways. I still like him as a creator because I think that the net positive there is good. That said, there is a thing that he mentioned in his stream yesterday that I think I'll mirror here because I agree with the sentiment. You are not being an advocate for a minority group by throwing other advocates under the bus because out of the 99% of things you agree with, that 1% is different. That 1% is the default because you're a human being and nobody thinks the same. You are not helping any movement. You are not helping anybody by doing that. I think I'll open up with that if that's okay.
That's absolutely
If I was
fine.
religious, I'd say amen.
I mean, you just did.
I said if I was religious.
But technically, you still said it.
Yeah, technically I still said it, yeah.
Well, has anyone read the book Shame by John Ronson?
I have not.
Okay, it's
No.
about the shaming culture. Different groups of people or individuals who have been shamed, and on different platforms, whether it was through newspaper or media or Twitter, and the difference between this Twitter and that Twitter, and basically how shaming events have turned from helping people to ruining people's lives. In some instances, like they've earned it either with a bad joke or whatever, but it's also like it seems to be increasingly vicious. And what you said about the advocacy, you're entirely correct. Because if someone makes a mistake, what do you do with them? You can't kill them, you know?
And in fact, by being the type of person who will willingly throw them under the bus repeatedly over and over again for everything they say, from that point on, I hear a lot of blowing in the background.
Yeah. Like
You're
too
throwing me
much
under the
noise.
bus?
Way too much noise.
Hold on. That's very distracting.
Can
Sloth Girl.
Can you
Yeah, I'm
mute
not
your
sure
mic?
who that's coming from.
I think it's
Oh, that's
Sloth
probably
Girl.
me.
Anyway,
Okay,
what were you saying?
Yeah, it
So
was me.
my point on
Yeah, I
that.
had the fan on. Sorry.
Fair enough. I mean, we all need to make sure that we don't burn. The evangelicals tell us that all the time. But so what I have found, if you take the left and right, so I'm fairly certain that most people here, at least for American politics, are a little bit left leaning.
I'm very left, but keep going.
So what happens? Look at take a look at the right. Take a look at how they operate in general, just in public discourse. 9 times out of 10, when the right have an internal disagreement, do you get this public shaming thing that happens, or this virtue signaling thing that happens? No.
No.
That doesn't happen.
No.
But it does happen here where we sit on the left. So what do you get? Well, you get a right that is strong, unified, and in many cases ethically bankrupt. And you get a left that might have its ethics more in check, but can't actually get any movement off the ground, can't get a good candidate into the office, because even when we can get a Democrat in the office, we can't get a progressive enough Democrat in the office to actually make good change. So that happens because we as lefties take morals and ethics as something that's a lot more important to us without it being strictly performative, and then we throw each other under the bus as a result of that. So when there's that meme from the right that, oh, the left cannibalizes itself, unfortunately, and I think recent events have kind of shown that actually pans out in reality sometimes, and when it happens, you get movements that have their momentum just get stopped.
Well, yeah. I mean,
the left eats its own legs and can't walk anymore. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
I mean,
Sounds like
easy comparison is it just took one joke photo to get Al Franken bounced out of Congress.
True. But the thing
and
is,
look at everything that Trump's done, and it's like he's not going anywhere.
No, but there's a difference, because also Trump also is managing his temper, his public temper, even though everyone hears rumors about it. Oh, it's true, because they've had interviews with his like servants or whatever, and he can get bad, like really scary. Think no more wire hangers, scary. But what do you call it? When someone or something, whether it's a group or a movement or a person, acts emotionally, we have been like attacking emotional responses in our culture, and they call it acting like a woman. And if you're cold and measured, you act like a man. And culturally, we have been conditioned to trust the cold and measured, even if it's going to eat you.
Unless you're acting angrily, of course. That's also acting like a man, apparently.
Well, it's
nobody said that.
Nobody
said that these people are actually very consistent in their
right,
in
but
their
like
argument.
if you are being emotional, it is an indication of behavior that means you're unstable.
You're hormonal.
Hormonal. The whole
hormonal.
Yeah, I said that.
She said it over and over. So basically, what I see there is what's one of the things that we are constantly told that we do as the left. We are told that a big one is that, like, oh, they just deal with identity politics.
And we don't get anywhere.
Except that thing that you just said there, when a lot of right-leaning people identify verbose and problematic behavior as womanhood, and then they take calm and measured behavior as manhood. That is, by every definition, identity politics. That's exactly what that is. So it's weird to me that like that double standard exists. But
the double standards everywhere, Cyrus.
I understand that, but it doesn't get addressed anywhere near as much as it needs to.
No, because every time we do the talking points, we eat our own tail. You know what I mean? It's like every time the left gets any decent talking points out, then some fundamentalist has to come around, and the movement through a wave of emotion. The groupthink thing. I've been listening to a lot of like things about, like, I don't know, shame, like group justice. When they go grab someone and hang them.
Mob justice.
Yeah,
Lynching.
vigilante, all this other stuff. I've been listening to this groupthink, like studies and things like that. It's not a good thing to eat your own tail. It's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing to put a group of people who are trans advocates on a list and then say that these people are not trans advocates.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
That doesn't do anybody any good.
Happen, yeah.
It's also not a good thing to say, oh, well, this person lives with this person who's a trans advocate that I have labeled transphobic, so they must also be transphobic, and the person who is now being labeled because of, acquaintanceship is just kind of sitting there like...
Yeah, way too much of the guilt by association.
Yeah, that... I'm like really, really left, so I don't strip other people of their own
Doing
thing.
that not just strips other people of like their identity, it takes the person and says, how to explain it? This is the best way to explain it. You have a friend, you don't like that friend anymore, so you're not going to go to that friend's house and play with their video games. The people who are now being lumped in by association with these people on these lists are basically the video games. It has now turned you from a person to an object, and you have now objectified people for existing.
You are the toys that the person plays with.
I don't like Tim. Tim likes Sonic Adventure 2, so I guess I don't like Sonic Adventure 2.
That's
even
crazy.
I don't like Tim, so Tim has a copy that I own, so I'm going to break this copy. Because I'm currently borrowing Tim's copy of Sonic Adventure 2.
Right. That just makes... But cutting your nose off to spite your face.
Yeah, but we've been doing this sort of thing since, like, I don't know, the dawn of time. You know, that whole, like, be good to your neighbor thing? That's basically be good to your tribe. It doesn't mean any outsiders, because you don't want to invite plague in your village. I mean, I understand where it comes from. I'm not advocating for it.
It makes sense where it comes from, but at the same time, it's also one of those things where it's
but
like...
But it's no longer applicable because we live in a modern society? Yeah.
It's not only no longer applicable, it also sucks when the people are now, like, mislabeling people. And in some cases, misgendering and such.
Right, but whether we are mislabeling or not, saying, shut up, I hate you, you don't exist. Well, I say you don't exist to me when someone like SJ. Anyway, I'm a bit of a hypocrite. But saying, shut up, I hate you, I'm not talking to you anymore, our relationship is over, blah, blah, blah. That does not, whether it's your neighbor, the butcher, or whatever, that does not change minds. It doesn't change minds. It doesn't push what you're advocating for. Advocating isn't just guarding. Advocating is conversation, changing minds, making things happen.
Yeah, you're not advancing a position.
And then it harms your position and what you
It pushes people who could very easily be with you to being against you.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we didn't kill every Nazi after World War II.
Considering that I literally just banned one of them from, or I didn't ban it, Ocean actually banned them from my Discord server just a few days ago. Like, not a hyperbolic Nazi. This person legitimately, like, wore his swastika proud.
This was a legitimate... I was like, oh.
Like, I don't know how many people saw that article that was posted on Twitter last night.
Mm-hmm.
That apparently the straight pride rally in Boston...
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was awful.
Yeah, well, that the organizers have been linked to a white nationalist group.
Yeah,
not surprised.
Which makes perfect. Actually,
yeah.
Could you send me that article, Purple? I want to do a video on that because I just did a video with Kate Bionic Dance about people who have issues with pride parades, and that's going to be going up here at 7:00 Eastern. On my channel and on her channel at the same time. But throughout that, I made a point in the video that said that when you get these people that try to say straight pride, white pride, 9 times out of 10, the end result is, say, a parade in the middle of Boston with Nazi leanings that has Milo Yiannopoulos as your marshal. That's usually when you can tell what the actual fucking motivations were.
Yeah, I don't actually have the article link here. I just know it was in my Twitter feed last night.
Worst comes to
Well,
worst, I'll find it.
retweet it to him.
Yeah.
All I'm worried about is how to de-escalate, because this is not the time for human beings to be at each other's throat and arguing over borders.
So
Or
I think-
arguing who's trans, who's not, who's this, who's that, what
think-
language you should use.
I think de-escalation may not be the answer because, and hear
Really?
me out,
Okay.
because de-escalation puts us in something that's called negative peace, where the peace is only maintained because people are not speaking. As opposed to de-escalation, I would think that maybe the best option is to take all of that anger, all of that virtue, all of those emotions, and channel them towards dealing with the people who are actually a problem.
Yeah, I'm not talking about apathy. I want, like, it. I'm talking about the culture more, like shooting people just because they're marching in a gay parade.
Oh, that needs to be de-escalated.
You know, like the violence. Human beings are becoming more and more knee-jerk, trigger happy, and these arguments, this it doesn't help. People need to talk with their mouths. They need to fight with their mouths, not with their fists.
Unfortunately, the flip side of that coin, though,
Yeah.
is that when you have people fighting with their mouths, and I agree with you 100%. I just want to point out what the other side of this is. Take as an example, you're familiar with Contra Points, correct?
I love Contra Points.
Okay,
Yes.
so take Natalie's channel, Contra Points.
Mhm.
How long does it take Natalie to make a video? Probably a month or so, usually, sometimes longer, because she does really, really good deep dive informational videos.
Yeah.
Take
she does.
Mr. Mediker. He does the exact same thing. He'll go in, if he lays into someone like Sargon of Akkad, he's going to go into it and he's going to give you all the information possible, but it's going to take him a couple months to put that together. Okay,
Right.
now look at the flip side. Who
Right.
do we have doing the same type of, like, this is the information I'm giving you content for the right? We've got people like Steven Crowder. We've got people
Right.
like No Bullshit. We've got people like Ben Shapiro. What do we have as a common thread with all of these people? These people are producing content every day or two that appeals to people's common sense. The thing is, though, is that what's common sense to me is going to change 50 years from now as I understand more about the world. So they're appealing to common sense of people that are, say, 30, 40, 50 years old, dealing with older ideas. Like when somebody says, oh, there are only two genders, and someone nods their head and goes, yeah, that makes sense. I've only ever met guys and girls. Then you have someone like Ben Shapiro parroting that over and over again. It reinforces that common sense, even though I can link a several-sided journal entry from a well-renowned sociology journal that shows them that they're absolutely fucking wrong. It doesn't matter because that requires effort. Nodding your head with what you consider as common sense doesn't require effort. So when you look at the biggest content creators who are left advocates, they're doing videos that require a shit ton of research. They're doing stuff that takes a shit ton of time, whereas the right are getting a steady stream of bullshit fed to them and just nodding their head at it. And it's so much harder to pull somebody out of that pipeline when they're constantly being given information from that. That's a huge issue that we have to figure out a way to deal with.
Yeah, education. Yeah.
And then by the time their video is done, the topic is irrelevant. People haven't remembered what they said the first time because there's so
The
much
news
other
cycle has
bullshit on
moved
top
on.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, the news cycle moves so fast that anyone who doesn't get a response out within 24 hours, people just are thinking about something completely different then.
And most of your right-wing people can do that really easily, or even worse, you get somebody who will call themselves left-wing, like, say, Dave Rubin, even though the only people he seems to have on his platform 9 times out of 10 are right-wing people. Because, why not?
Reasons.
You end up getting that scenario where even the people who are on the left, or publicly on the left, that can produce content at that rate seem to also be right-wing advocates, at least in some shape or form.
Well, I think it's important to look at things not just from a left-right perspective, because there are issues that are typically thought of as left-right issues that people will have differing opinions on. People aren't all left or all right.
No, I agree with you in
So-
reality. The problem is that at least here in America, we have a two-party system. So when you frame something as not a left or right issue, you end up not getting anything done because what happens classically in America, look at our history for elections as an example. Whenever people fight for a middle platform, they classically cannot get any votes, and we have this awkward culture where we say that a vote for the middle person is a vote for my enemy. So like in the last election, if you wanted to vote for somebody from the middle party, everybody said that Bernie was not from the Bernie was Democrat. Bernie was from the left side. The problem is that Bernie is very social democrat, and here in America we also have a stigma against socialism, regardless of the fact that there are several European countries that are socialist or socialist capitalist and are perfectly fucking fine.
That's regardless also, we've had a socialist democratic president before, and the socialist democratic president has put in some amazing programs. I think it's something that's needed again.
But here in America, we have a very, not only do we have the right-left issue, and it's constantly framed as a right-left issue, we also have the fact that whenever you try to say, hey, I'm going to introduce these policies, these social policies, people hear socialism. As an example, I recognize this as an anecdote. But when I was buying my house, there was a lady throughout the course of buying my house where the topic of healthcare came up. And I mentioned that one of my two girlfriends lives in Netherlands where healthcare is free. And as soon as I said healthcare is free, which when I say that statement, anybody here should go, that's a good thing, because if we accept that humans have a right to live and a right to pursue happiness, which we do accept that in the United States, you would think that healthcare would kind of be part of that, because your right to live includes a right to get fucking fixed up so you can continue living.
NHS over here, so I'm all for it.
But when I said that, the knee-jerk reaction from this person, granted, they were like 50, 52-ish, their knee-jerk reaction was, ew, socialism. And I wish I was being facetious, but that was the knee-jerk reaction. And that's a thing that happens in America all the time. If I say free healthcare, or if I say universal base income, or if I say things that are overtly good things, you're already fucking paying your taxes anyway. Why would you not want them to go to something that benefits your fellow man? Except here in America, we have this weird issue where benefit fellow man seems to translate into, I don't want to give anybody else my money, even though you already are.
Yeah, well, and
taxes are currently going into people's pockets or treasuries, and those taxes can be used to give people healthcare, like veterans or people who can't necessarily pay for medical insurance.
The disabled.
Well, and why people can't get the concept that socialism and society are the same root. Society only functions with a certain amount of socialism. You know, we have to come together to do big projects like infrastructure.
Look at the TVA.
And yet, what we get whenever we're dealing with this is a right-left framing instead of anybody going, hey, this other human, like, as an example, a weird, like, conversational example. I'm sorry, Faye.
Keep going. It's fine.
As a weird conversational example, what's one of the things that we hear whenever we're talking about something like, say, sex workers, or if we're talking about something like, say, abortions or anything like that? We hear the standard, you wouldn't want your daughter to do that. Okay, well, that's fine. But what if we just took that exact same rhetoric and flipped it around? You wouldn't want your daughter not able to afford healthcare.
Right.
Why does it not work both ways? And yet, apparently, it doesn't.
Hi, America is a little backwards.
A little?
Well, it used to be that if you had a Democrat, they would actually have to, like, state what they support. It wasn't all left-right politics a while ago. You know, like, there were, nuances. You could have a conservative Democrat president, or, a more liberal Republican. It wasn't like this before, but like, it's almost like, oh, you're all in or you're all out. And I think I think maybe that evolved because of infighting over policies, but it's been a mess.
There used to be a day where Republicans were the ones that actually
Did things
stopped
for
the slave.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a day where Republicans were the ones that stopped the slave trade, and now they're the ones bitching about whether or not somebody should be in a bathroom.
I could just play devil's advocate for the two-party system a moment. At least with a clear left-right two-party divide, you have some idea what each party is actually standing for, even if the actual election promises and everything are largely fabrications designed to get votes.
And
you have some idea of the general policies, whereas if you look at something like UK politics, the parties are all over the place. You don't know what any of them stand for anymore. And there's no one clear to vote for. It's essentially just either voting for a team or for a popular leader.
And that's fair. I can definitely agree with that being an issue. The flip side to that, though, with American politics is I don't know how many of you watch Arn Raw.
Yeah.
I do.
Aaron did an excellent video on the state of American politics about a year ago, I want to say. And in this video, he went over what has classically happened to the left here in America. As a unit, the right has done this year by year, moved slowly more right.
Mm-hmm.
And the left has moved slowly more left. However, the rate at which the left has moved is microscopic compared to the rate at which the right has moved, which means what has functionally happened is what is considered the moderate position over time ends up just being the standard right-wing position, or the left-wing position ends up just being what other countries would consider the moderate position. And then, so with what happens here in America is we demonize what other countries would consider a functional left-wing, and we don't have that. We have a group of moderates who, by the mere state of the social status of America, are the left, but that's just because that's where they are. If you look at a hyper left-wing politician, a successful one, not just somebody campaigning, but a successful one in any European country, and then look at one here in America, you find a bit of a difference. Our left-leaning people almost seem like some other countries' right-leaning people.
I agree. And
Another issue.
that's the problem. But like, I hate to keep saying things like that. Historically, the foil today, what used to be the oil business is now healthcare. There used to be an oil monopoly. Now there's a like pharmaceutical, like healthcare. Money also is an issue with the politics.
No, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I that's just an aside that wasn't. I'm sorry, I didn't address anything.
Well, no,
but I agree with you, sirs.
I think the real thing after that, though, is like, what can we possibly do to solve that? Because like right now, I'm just bitching about the state of the country I live in.
Right.
The more I study about American history and the more I study about American politics, the more the present state of America makes me actively angry.
Yeah.
So
same problem over here.
But like,
yeah. At least you guys didn't get Sargon.
Well,
obviously, the money in politics is a major issue.
I'm going to say a slightly dodgy statement now. Just say I preferred him to some of the people we do get. At least he talks to people.
Fair, but he also doesn't even know what policies an MEP can propose
That's true.
Talking about being an MEP.
That's true. He's not a good political candidate, but at least he talks to people and tells you what he thinks.
True, but that's the same
right either.
But that's the same reason why people celebrated Trump.
Oh, Trump did exactly the same thing that all other politicians did, but with a negative slant instead of a positive slant.
And
he
fucking
doesn't say
worked.
anything. He still doesn't say anything. He just says, rather than everything's great and it's going to get better, he just says everything's shit and I'm going to try and fix it. He's not trying to fix it. That's what he says, though.
I don't
Sorry,
know.
talking over you.
I think what has basically happened too is you get ideas. It's kind of like the Christian not Christian thing, and it's like, well, I belong to this group, so I have to be all in or all out. I
Yeah.
can't think for myself. I'm a fundamentalist.
That
I
was the thing
can't
I was going to
handle
mention
these
as well.
things. I can't handle these things, so I'm just going to follow the leader, and things escalate. Someone may start with a really good intention, but if you let something escalate, if there are no checks and balances to something, you're going to end up with, I'm crazy. And I mean, like, I'm crazy in I'm all in. I'm all in, and I've stopped thinking, and I'm just reacting to things.
I just like everything my
I'm a
preacher
sheep.
says.
Right?
I'm a sheep. Bah, bah, bah.
That was the thing I was going to mention with there being issues, like the whole politics being a team sport thing. There's issues that each side of it won't budge on for that are considered inherently left or inherently right issues. For example, if you try to discuss, you agree with, for example, a typically right-leaning, let's use America as an example, a Republican candidate. If you agree with absolutely everything, but say maybe abortion's needed, then you're immediately thrown to the wolves.
Then it's, you're a child murderer. What is wrong with you? It's like,
or if you're on the left and you're talking to someone on the left and you, well, there's a whole number of issues there as well. For example, anything related to the whole trans thing, if you mention it at all and not the same line, you can be thrown under the bus by certain people. There's also something like if you were to say, well, I'm for some control of gun laws, but I think people should have access to them. That's another thing that might very well get you
scream and just
straight under
go,
the bus.
"You're not pro Second Amendment. Second Amendment is what made America get away from the British. Don't you understand that, you stupid commie?" That's
And
what
on
you
the
get.
reverse side with the gun control thing, it's like, if you don't support the Second Amendment fully the way some people do, you get the whole, you're a fucking commie, but then you turn around on the flip side, and then the other side's like, you support people getting murdered. And I'm just like, no.
I think on the gun control issue, if we could manage to get the NRA to shut the fuck up and stop scaring people into thinking that any form of regulation means we're going to take away all their hunting rifles, we may have a chance to have a rational discussion about it.
I don't think there's so much, they're going to take away all our guns, because that's the talking point that gets people to panic. I think it's, we're going to lose money somehow.
I think that might be the case for the NRA, but it's not necessarily the case for the individual voter.
Yeah, for the general population, it's the idea that they're going to take all our guns.
Well,
and
because we fall for advertising. The general public falls for advertising. That is the advertising, and it's fear-based, and it's ridiculous. It's almost like people are not thinking enough to realize when they're being sold a product, and that bothers me.
Well, coming from a perspective of someone from a country where there are supposed to be no guns without going through all kinds of government hoops and licensing and stuff, I think the laws here are too restrictive and prevent people from defending themselves. But I think that the laws over there are a bit too loose and cause issues as well.
But see, now you're in the problem that you're trying to take. Yeah, you're in the problem that you're trying to take a middle ground position, which is what we've been talking about. That you've got to be either right or left.
Yeah, the problem is
you can't be in the middle.
Yeah, if I say that, if I say something along those lines, where I think, well, maybe there should be some restrictions so that you can't just sit on top of a building and kill hundreds of people, but also maybe you should be able to access some things for defense purposes, or even just as a collector.
And then you get the lovely double standards.
I'm then piled on from both sides, because neither side, I haven't strongly supported either side.
And then what you get there is the fun double standard where your standard right-wing person does the pro-gun thing. I need to protect myself against the government in case it gets too large. Then they're also really anti-abortion. You get this weird double standard of you can't just ban guns. People will get them illegally. And then if you ban abortion, it'll never happen.
Yeah.
And you can't have a nuanced discussion on anything because everything's looked at as a team sport.
Well, my own brother is one of these on the side that, you need to legalize all weapons so that people can defend themselves against the government.
But you can't.
That he flat out said that if the government is allowed to have tanks, I need to be allowed to have anti-tank missiles.
Yeah, I've heard that from other people too. But the thing is, it just doesn't work that way.
But
I'm personally of the opinion that to buy a gun, you need to have extra screenings and then extra lessons
Mental health
how to use them and when to use them, and to regulate it more so that people aren't, put in a position where kids are getting a hold of guns and people are getting hurt.
Well, I think that's the minimum line. That to drive a car,
but that's the baseline America currently does not reach.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
To drive a car, you need to take classes. You need to pass a test and get a license, and you need to have insurance so that if your car hurts somebody else, their medical bills at least are covered. Why can't we require at least that much for having a gun?
Yeah, some states do, not the insurance portion, but some states do have stricter laws on getting them. But the thing is that should be more of a federal thing.
Yes,
in my opinion,
national. Everybody. If you can have a rule for one person, you have a rule for everybody.
I agree with that in principle, but in some states there are some laws that just will not fly, even if you try. So I'm fine with some stuff being statewide and some stuff being federal. I just think that guns is one of those things that should be federal.
Yeah, there are some things that are going to vary from one region to another. So the states need flexibility on certain things.
Well, regions are completely different. Someone living in a vastly open, mountainous, rural region will probably need more free access to firearms than someone who lives in a closely populated urban area.
Yeah, but that's what Purple was saying, though, is the fact we're not coming for your hunting rifles. We're just coming for your pistols.
Yeah.
We want to take your AR-15s away. I know. I'm not saying you're not disagreeing.
Yeah, somebody living in the wilderness of Alaska does not have the same needs as somebody living in downtown Chicago.
The specifics I might disagree with you on, but I'm in total agreement that regional things are entirely different by region, and that needs to be considered.
There's a lot of things that need to be considered, unfortunately, but it all boils right back down to fundamentalist thinking, no matter what group or position that you're in, and how to do checks and balances to make sure that you're still being reasonable and still being a member of a culture or society, rather than going up to Minnesota and being a prepper.
Going off the grid versus being part of a productive society.
Exactly. And no matter, you can boil that down to classrooms, or you can expand it to be how to run a nation. How do you do the checks and balances to make sure that you're still being a reasonable human being, no matter what the subject is? That's what it boils down to, in my opinion. I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, Trump, I think, as an example, Trump has shown us that we don't need to be human beings anymore. All we have to do is react.
Yeah,
and that's
I'm not
okay.
taking his advice.
I know, but that's the air he gives off to me, is we don't have to communicate anymore. We just have to act. And that ain't right.
Or whenever you can say something that doesn't actually mean anything, but you can code it in flowery language, like when somebody says Trump is definitely an LGBTQ and trans advocate because he said that one time, I will defend our LGBTQ people from a dangerous foreign ideology. It's like, okay, yes, he didn't say jack shit about defending them from ideologies within America that are harmful. He just said he wouldn't let them fall to like Mexicans or Islam.
Right.
That doesn't mean anything for what
he did say
happens in America.
Also, if you don't want to take Trump's advice on something, just wait a day or two and he'll contradict himself.
Well, good point.
But the problem with that is everybody else follows what he says.
Well,
Well, not everybody, but
The closest thing Trump has to a consistent position on anything is that all of our problems are because of foreigners. And if we keep foreigners out of the U.S., everything will be fine.
Which BT dubs is just the talking point of nationalism. But, you know, people don't want to agree with the fact that that's literally a Nazi talking point. But
It really is, though.
As a foreigner, that's not entirely accurate.
You're
Okay.
everything that's wrong with the world. You're everything that's wrong with the
shit.
world, Badger.
Wait, what about me?
You're also everything that's wrong with the world. Screw the fact that you were a veteran and in the U.S. military and actively fighting. No, you're a foreigner. You're everything wrong.
But my parents were American.
Doesn't matter. You were born on you weren't born on U.S. soil. This is the reason we didn't like Obama.
No, I was not born on U.S. soil at all.
No, neither was I.
I didn't even.
I've never been on US soil, in fact.
I didn't even go to a school in the U.S. until like middle school.
Oh, well then, we can't trust him.
well, then you don't count.
We can't trust you with anything in America.
Yeah.
Absolutely
And she
not.
lives in your house, Cirrus.
I know.
But, wait.
Better
How
lock
do-
her
how
in
do
her
we
room at
keep-
night.
How do we keep people from dehumanizing each other enough so that we can talk to each other?
Yeah.
So part of I'm working on a project for that actually.
Okay.
Granted, it's not here to appeal to the people on our side that are trying to cannibalize each other. That's not the person that it's appealing to. But there's a project I'm working on right now that is called I Deserve to Live. And I have currently, what does this folder have in it? 92 submissions into it right now. And they're 5-second
Wow.
they're 5-second videos of people who are from any marginalized gender, sexual or romantic group, LGBTQ, GSRM, whichever acronym you prefer. And it's meant primarily as a response to what the NIFB are trying to do with the Make America Straight Again crap. Because for you to say that these people deserve to burn in hell, these people deserve to be killed by the U.S. government, there has to be a level of dehumanization here because it's how you other somebody. It's how you make somebody the enemy. So I'm making a video that is strictly in the short term for people like that has people saying, hi, my name is this. I am this, my gender, my sexuality, etc. And I deserve to live. And every single one of them is in this same vein. And I'm still debating on how I'm going to put it together, but it's going to be put together before the end of the week. And it's basically hey, if you want to be one of these people that say that a minority group doesn't deserve to live, especially somebody who is, LGBTQ, this is somebody that people can't control. You can't control being trans. You can't control being gay. You can't control these things. To send this to somebody like that and says, if you want to honestly advocate for these people to die, if you want to honestly advocate that these people do not deserve life, watch this and see if your stomach doesn't fucking turn.
Not only that, you're now putting faces to these people that people are saying deserve to die. And now they're not just
They're not just a myopic idea. Like trans people is a myopic idea until you've got a handful of trans friends. Gay people is a myopic idea until you have a handful of gay friends or even fucking family members.
This is reminding me of hostage situation psychology.
Yeah, it is. Very much so.
Yeah, for a lot of these issues, the LGBT or the abortion things, it generally comes down to people are against it until it is someone they know personally that's affected.
Right.
I think it's important, even when criticizing quite strongly an ideology or a group or a way of thought or a way of life or anything like that, it's important to criticize the idea and the ideology, but at the same time recognize the people who follow that or believe it or take part in it are people.
Yes, but that's why
Even
that's why appealing to their humanity in some cases is the best option, because they never stop. Just because they started being somebody that you disagree with vehemently, it never stopped them from being a person. Some of those people you can appeal to their humanity because for some of them it's still there.
Yeah, and that's I think that needs to be done in all directions, because otherwise it's quite easy to just dismiss a movement where you do exactly the same thing. So I try to make sure, I don't always succeed, I probably fail at this sometimes, but I try to make sure if ever I'm criticizing an ideology, I try to put in there something saying there are people who follow this that are not terrible, and you know, people can change, people can get over it, but I disagree with this about this thing.
It's like when I was doing my video where I was tackling a video by Damien Prosselandi. One of the points where he was like, I exercise 2 to 3 times a day. It releases endorphins. I feel good about myself. And I was like, those endorphins can be addictive, for one. And for two, exercising 2 to 3 times a day can get somebody hurt and can get you hurt. And so instead of just looking at Damien as somebody I disagreed with, I also put in that Damien could get hurt. And I put that I did not want that for Damien to get hurt because of the exercise regimen that he happens to follow.
Right. It humanizes him.
It humanizes him because a lot of people just hear that video completely like Damien, blah, 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 blah. And I still want to put that level of like, Damien's still a person. And Damien is now doing something and has admitted to doing something that's actively bad for Damien's health.
Or that could be actively bad for his health.
Oh no, exercising that often is very bad for your health. There's no could be about it.
And is it that people want to be seen as more than human? For example, Trump, because everybody's looking
Superhuman.
Everyone's looking for a hero. So here's my hero. He's got all the solutions or whatever. Doesn't matter who it is. You know, there's never one solution to everything, but it's presented as if there's, if we do this, then everything will be better.
Well, there is one group that thinks there's only one solution to everything. You would almost say that in their rhetoric, they say there's a final solution to these things. But we don't talk about them because they're horrible people.
Right, but also it's also become like a trigger word.
What has become a trigger word?
The final solution people, their moniker has become a trigger word.
Oh, yes.
The whole thing that I mentioned on Twitter a little while ago, which is that I don't accept that title without qualification. And there's a load of other words that I don't accept without qualification, because a lot of words are now so overused that they essentially have no meaning. So
it's like whenever I have to say, if I want to call somebody a Nazi, for example, I specifically have to say, not hyperbolic, literal. Because there's a difference between somebody who just agrees with like 60% of the talking points and then doesn't understand the implications of what they're saying versus somebody who literally is sitting there going, here's my swastika and I love eugenics and et cetera et al. Like you know exactly who I'm talking about. I wish I was talking about something hyperbolic, but no, we're talking about a real person.
The thing I'm saying there is, if those particular kinds of terms are used, words that are quite emotive but have been massively devalued by overuse, if they come up in discussion, I will try to say something. I try to not be a dick about it, but I will also try to say, what do you mean when you say that word? What exactly is the definition used, and how does this person you're describing with it meet that?
It's the same thing when like you're talking about about socialism, like we brought up before. When somebody says, ew, socialism, and you're just like, okay, yes, but what do you mean when you say that word? Because you might be talking about Joseph McCarthy's fucking Red Scare, which has nothing to do with this.
Right.
It's like when I handle a person and the person's making talking points that are against the disabled, ableistic talking points, I will sit there and I won't call them an ableist. Some people do still get that label from me, but very rare. But I will point out, but like, this talking point is bad because this, and this issue is being used by this talking point. So I don't use a wheelchair, so nobody else needs a wheelchair. That's a very obvious bad point.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have people who are accidentally using these ableistic talking points, and they're just like, well, I didn't realize how this was a bad talking point, and then you can sit them down and explain it, and then people tend to learn and adjust and grow. Hopefully,
Well, if
sometimes.
they are healthy, some people cannot be wrong ever. Or some people think, okay, I've been wrong, therefore I'm going to be slaughtered for it no matter what. I have to dig in my heels, so at least I still belong to a group. This is about my survival.
Oh yeah, I've seen that a few times.
You've got that. You have groups of people who say, I'm being persecuted for an idea. My humanity is this identity. I'm in danger if I give it up.
Petunia.
And that's part of the problem.
It's something I see dealing with my channel is I did a video debunking anti-vax issues, and basically I broke down what an actual vaccine is
Mm-hmm.
and how it helps.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically got this thing where this person was a mother whose child had gotten the vitamin K shot and had caused issues with the parent because child got a vitamin K shot without consent.
Mm-hmm.
Child was going to die of VKDB, vitamin K deficiency bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
That is what your vitamin K shot is.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was like, how are you supposed to know what your kid's allergic to if they stick them right away? And then I was like, well, according to this source, the child still has immunity for several months after birth. Some sources said several weeks. The verified and accredited sources said 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
They still have the parent's immune system, so they don't have allergies yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat there and tried to explain, and she was like, you don't know anything. You're a scared child. You're not pretty at all. And dug the heels on this point, and I'm just like, I want your child to be safe. I want your child to be healthy. I also, if your child is sick, do not want your child non-vaccinated around me because that is a dangerous situation for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say that, that's selfish.
It's often difficult to find a way to get around the sort of knee-jerk stigma about a lot of issues, and the way, if there is a way around it, it varies person to person that you're talking to.
Well, I've spoken to people, and I am definitely very honest about, it's like, I don't want non-vaccinated people who can be vaccinated and aren't. They're just not because they don't want vaccines. I don't want them around me because I am immunocompromised.
Me too. Or I used to be. I know where you're coming from.
So I'm chronically ill. So seeing that, I'm just kind of like, oh, your kid's not vaccinated and can be vaccinated? Haha, no. Because that's a very...
I get it. I know many people who are unable to get the flu vaccine because if they do, their doctor won't even do it. And in order to keep the herd immunity up, I also support vaccines. So
I can't get the flu vaccine. I'm not qualified. I can
Mhm.
get the immunocompromised flu vaccine, but it doesn't actually protect me well enough.
I get it. I get it. My friend's daughter has cystic fibrosis. Believe me, I get it.
What does an immunocompromised flu vaccine actually do?
It actually helps increase the white blood cell count so that you can fight, but it keeps it from increasing to the point where, because mine's autoimmune,
Mm-hmm.
I can't get it because I can't increase my immune system.
Yeah.
Because
So is
Right.
the immunocompromised one just a thing to boost white blood cell count?
it boosts the white blood cell count with the already pre-antibodies within the white blood cell.
Okay. No, I think I'm with you.
Yeah,
So-
but we have a problem though, because a lot of this stems down to miseducation, the unhealthy groupthink, vigilantism, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and the fact that people fall for anything.
Everything.
Yeah, well, most of the anti-vaxxer arguments are still based on research that was debunked 20 years ago.
And it was bad research at that.
Well, we believe in a lot of things that were debunked a long time ago. Like a bowl of cut up onions near your bedside is going to cure you. That's like ancient Roman shit.
That's
Who
like this thing I
believes
was. That's like this thing I was reading on Twitter last night about this woman was telling other women things that they could eat that would start an abortion.
Oh, is this the stuff like, hey, eat papaya in order to stop the
Yeah.
sperm from reaching the egg?
Yeah, and the one that was totally lethal, like eating pennyroyal to cause an abortion. Yeah, because you lose your life.
I'm about to start working on this site, but there's a whole site that does that. Or they are blaming Ehlers-Danlos on the SV40, and that's which is in vaccines. So they're blaming Ehlers-Danlos on vaccinations, and Ehlers-Danlos is a genetic mutation.
It'd be a bit like saying, well, technically, if you go out into the woods and you find this one plant, particularly by watercourses, it's thin. Don't do this, by the way. I'm putting a disclaimer before I do this. If you go out into the woods and go by watercourses, and there's this green plant. It's a little shrubby plant. It's sort of thin tubes.
It's a shrubbery.
It's a shrubbery. Yes, it's thin tubes. It's a tube plant. It's hollow in the middle, and it's got leaves that come off, and they're kind of separated into small things. And if you eat that, you'll never get the flu again. And they're like, yes, that's because that's water drop where that's hemlock, and it will kill you to death.
I was gonna say, are you describing hemlock?
Yeah.
That phrase was beautiful.
Well, unfortunately, though, a lot of our
It's
medicine.
technically accurate. You won't get the flu again.
It's a natural cure for the flu. It's natural. It's fine.
A lot of our medicines are things that are very, very dangerous, though, and that's why we have to have pharmaceuticals to make sure that we don't get too much poison when we're trying to get better.
No, pharmaceuticals are bad. Don't you know if it's a pill, never eat it. If you can't read everything on the box and understand it, it's bad for you.
Oh no!
And even then, it might be bad for you because you might be allergic to it.
Yeah, like
that's like-
tomatoes.
Whenever somebody says, oh my God, if you say it that way one more time. Anyway, whenever somebody says that, oh, if you can't pronounce the thing on the back of the package, you shouldn't eat it. And I'm like, are you literally gatekeeping processed food from stupid people?
Yeah.
Or dyslexics.
Yes, or dyslexics.
Oh my goodness.
So if you're illiterate, you should starve to death?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
no, you can go out into the woods and eat the tubey plant. They haven't got anything written on them.
Oh my god.
What if I'm blind and it hasn't got braille on it? I'm doomed. I'm doomed.
Considering one of my favorite things to read are books on poison, this is terrible.
I didn't know they
suddenly
printed books on poison.
I suddenly question our friendship and how violently it might end for me.
No, I didn't mean it that way. Like there's been I've been reading about the Royal Art of Poison or something, and it's about the history of like, oh, I'm afraid of poison, but let me smear arsenic on my face. You know, it's like one of those books where you're just like, what the? How did we even survive? Like the amount of lead poisoning our leaders have had throughout history. Because they included it in medication, or arsenic, or mercury,
Or radiation.
Oh well, that's in the later chapters where they introduce polonium and ricin. But yeah, it's just you just sit there going, "What have we done to each other?"
I to get my degree, have to read books on poisonings and what they look like in case, come into contact with them. Because some poisonings, you have to hit the hazmat alarm.
Oh.
And
what's the degree, sorry?
I'm a forensic.
Oh,
which is
sounds so
awesome,
cool,
by
doesn't
the
it?
way.
Aaron, are you Aaron's Corner on Twitter?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey.
I found that article with the pennyroyal. I'm gonna tweet it to you.
I'm working on a current blog called All About Heaven, and I think I'm going to start with their Ehlers-Danlos page. Because Ehlers-Danlos has a special place in my life.
Of course, but it just really upsets me that people think they can mix their own medications. I think they're taking the do-it-yourself
you can.
thing a little bit too much.
At a basic level, there are plants you can go and get that have, medicinal properties like painkillers. There's all kinds of things. But if you don't know what you're doing plant-wise, or if you have a serious medical condition that is beyond basic, plant salve or whatever, you don't do that. Go to the doctor. Get yourself sorted out.
Did anyone see the thing I tweeted out the other day about like someone in my Twitter had posted a letter they had gotten from the water company to say that there were unsafe levels of arsenic in the water, and unless you have a medical condition that concerns you, you should probably like consult your doctor. But it's perfectly safe to drink, and I'm going, no, like no.
I see it.
Yeah, upsetting, right? I mean, not to switch the thing. And by the way, sir, back to you. I think what
Welcome
you're
back,
doing
Cyrus.
with your "I have the right to live" thing is a wonderful project, and I'm looking forward to it. I think you're going to do a lot of good with that.
Are you
I hope
including some disabled people in it?
It's strictly LGBTQ right now because the NIFB conference is dealing with that right now.
Okay.
Oh, but you know what they'll say then? They'll say you're excluding people.
Yeah, well, I'm also excluding people that are cis, straight, and don't have any minority sexualities. So which means I'm excluding myself.
Please, you're excluding me.
I mean, you do have
I feel so excluded.
Well, eventually, I hope you broaden it to be even more for the more marginalized people. But I do understand what you're doing, and I do support it.
Right.
I think it might be a good idea to have that one for that thing, and maybe other people do other ones for other things, for when those issues are at the forefront and need to be shown to be, in the same way. I think it's probably a good idea for that one to be specifically about the thing it's about, and for other ones to be about the thing that they're about when that thing is a prominent topic.
Yeah, I can see having things like that for different categories.
Somebody stole my tweet and turned it into a meme, no less.
Meme?
Yes, King James I of England was the King James Bible fame was gay, so you can thank a homosexual for your Bible. I discovered that one.
I thought he was bi.
Well, still.
Okay.
What
Oh,
about-
American standards. Once you like the cock, you can't go back.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not
If you like the cock, you
completely
must
not
flop.
gay, you're absolutely completely gay, apparently.
Hmm.
But they're quoting this Bible as they're totally against gays. Well, see, it's based on the guy who was gay. Hello.
Well,
But
The
I always say
NFIB
that.
only uses the King James version.
I
Yeah,
always say that
you're missing it.
Jesus was a, because like glory hole.
He loved everybody.
Yeah.
Well,
You
he
miss
did
an important
travel
distinction
around.
with King James, though. He was the king. He made the laws. He didn't have to follow the laws.
True. Kind of like
Oh,
somebody
yeah,
else we
that
know.
whole divine thing.
Oh, which oh, I forget who it was. Never mind. I can't remember names.
Oh, jeez.
Although I have heard an argument made that Jesus was gay, and that Thomas was actually his lover,
Well, he
and
did
that was
travel
the whole
around
thing
with a lot
about
of
him
guys.
denying Jesus in the garden.
He hung around with nothing but dudes all day, denied a prostitute who was female, and literally got nailed by a pack of Romans. What do you expect?
Steady on there.
What? He's right.
I mean, not wrong.
I think I need to shut my door.
So is that a yes?
But
Well, that brought the conversation.
that's beside the point, right? So, but I'm trying to remember if I think it was the King of England, where he had a lover, blah blah blah. His wife had fled to France. They came
Yep.
back. They killed his lover. Cut off his genitals, stuck them in his mouth. Blah blah blah. And with the king,
This is
they
a
ended
fun
up.
conversation.
They ended up. What do you call it? Starving him to death.
Even though he had those nuts.
But the rumor was, yeah. No, that's the other guy who had his nuts. But yeah. Well, anyway, there was
Well,
that.
you said they shoved his nuts in his mouth.
No, his lover's nuts in his mouth.
Oh.
After they
Well, he was-
after they beheaded him.
well, at least they didn't do it
So
before they beheaded him.
that's why he starved to death, because he didn't have a body.
Wrong guy.
Well, that's like-
again, wrong guy.
You know that a cockroach can live for 7 days without its own head.
Don't
The only reason
You can't.
the
prove
only
to me
reason
that
it dies
any
is
of them
because
die.
it starves to death.
You can't convince me that any of them die. So, cockroaches are immortal, in my opinion. But go on.
Yeah, there was another one here on Twitter that just got me last night. This guy is griping and complaining because he broke his foot and is gonna be on crutches for 6 weeks, and he doesn't get any heroics and like the people in wheelchairs do.
How did he break his foot?
I don't know. I just told him he better sit the fuck down before he hurts himself again.
He just got really mad at a whole bunch of disabled people and kicked a signpost, breaking his foot, and now he's mad that he can't get the same treatment. I'm kidding. That's probably not what happened.
I like your version better. I like
Sure
your
what it
version.
sounds like, though.
Though I will say this, back on the cockroach thing, tell you what, when our loving, adoring Cheeto of a president finally decides that it's time for his mortal coil to be untethered, and he ends up being in a coffin, I'll go ahead and let you know that a cockroach did in fact die publicly.
Awesome. I like that. Thank you very much.
Without its head being cut
CJ.
Well, as my mother says, not every death is a bad thing.
Right. Totally.
Well, I'm not going to say it's a good thing.
Tony Designs is saying to look up how many penises a male cockroach has.
Yeah.
I don't really think I want to know if he's saying it that way.
I'll do it if you like.
There's a really good book on them called The Complete Cockroach, but it's complete is spelled the Middle
Complete.
English way.
Yeah, Pixar
Right.
didn't happen.
Compleat. Complete.
Yeah,
Look this
the
up.
complete cockroach. It's really, really interesting, but that's beside the point.
Okay.
Those Brits have been messing up our language for hundreds of years.
Oh dear, here we go.
Oi, we started this shit, so we get to decide how stupidly things are spelled.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious still has a
Like
U
my
in
letter
it.
U. Thank you. I like my letter U.
Oh, so that's why they call them cockroaches.
Because they have lots of cocks.
I don't know why they call them cockroaches. I don't want to know. They're gross.
I'm just not going to add
Okay,
anything
I will
more
stop looking at this now.
disgusting
I did
about
not
them.
Come on,
to
how
see that.
many? How many?
I don't even know how many. I just saw a picture that disturbed me.
How many, Tony? Cough it up.
I can't remember.
Well, I don't know about cockroaches, but a platypus actually has 4 penises.
Wow. Jealous much?
I quite like the flatworms that battle each other with their penises.
That sounds like
Humans.
that sounds like
Human-
teenage boys on Kool-Aid.
Yeah, but the
Humans
one that
started freaking settling their duels with guns after a while, but the tapeworms, they're still doing it with swords.
yeah, but the one that
Technically,
loses
yes.
becomes the girl.
Okay, if you're
And
trying to
has to look
find
after
the
the young.
answer to, if you're trying to find the answer to how many penises does a cockroach have, do not image search cockroach penis.
Okay.
It's a disaster. Do not do it.
I've been on DeviantArt. I'm sure it's not that bad.
No.
Oh,
I'm not talking about the artistic renditions here.
Read the side
Oh.
chat, what Tony is saying.
I've lost
By the way,
chat, hang on.
sirs, I do like the fan art people have done for your channel. It's great.
Tony Design says it varies, but multiple ones. They have penises for various functions, including removing the sperm sacs of previous males if a female has already been bred.
Marvelous.
Oh yeah, ducks do the exact same thing.
I
Actually,
was about to bring up duck penises.
yes, the freaking corkscrew and their ducks have corkscrew penises, and the females
Yep.
have maze vaginas.
And they're all over the bloody place.
The
Accurate.
little feathery rapists.
Oh, they're also into necrophilia, so you know that's a thing.
What's that?
Necrophilia.
Who? What?
Ducks.
Oh, okay.
Duck-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Go
you
fuck
know
you,
it makes
duck, the
sense
whole
not to
meeting.
impregnate somebody you've never met before.
I need to stop looking at this.
You need to wash your eyeballs, huh? Where's the bleach?
Oh, I'm getting that way.
Dear.
Oh, that's a picture of a cockroach with a little tiny hard hat on. It's nice, though.
A hard hat.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
I
all,
think-
all this weird stuff about duck sex, and I've got a Disney package here, so I can't help thinking about the fact that all these years Donald Duck has never owned a pair of pants.
And now we know how. And now we know about Huey, Dewey, and Louie, huh?
Oh, that's very interesting.
Ah.
But I don't know how to fix Twitter.
Huh. Donald Duck has... Okay, then. I didn't grow up with Disney. I'm sorry.
Donald Duck was actually banned from one of the Scandinavian countries for the longest time in the 60s because he did not wear pants.
Oh, you found the Donald Duck fan art.
Speaking of banning things, there's one ban of kids' TV show which I agree with. But you know, being the classic free speech guy that I tend to be all over the Twitters, there's one banning of a TV show that I disagree with, which is an episode of a UK TV show called Peppa Pig. It was banned in Australia.
Why?
An episode of it was banned in Australia because it said that spiders are not dangerous and you can just put them outside. In Australia, that is not the case at all.
I agree. It's banning because I don't like spiders. You
But
murder
do you
them
like
all, set the
snakes?
house on fire, they're gone. Goodbye.
In the UK, that's most of the time accurate. Most spiders that will come in your house will not kill you or even harm you at all. In Australia, that's not the case at all.
Oh no, not at all.
Well, then
Trust
again,
me,
in
I would-
Australia, the average person is not strong enough to pick up one of the spiders.
In Australia, almost every spider you see will kill you dead.
And actually, it's the
Yeah,
ones
that's
that you
the best
don't
phrase ever.
see that'll kill you. You
I
can walk away from the ones you can see. It's the ones you don't see that'll kill you.
I don't want to. I
the
don't want
spiders
a
will kill me
spider
anyway.
as a pet. I think they're neat.
A friend of
Spiders will kill me
mine,
anyway because I will have a heart attack. I don't do spiders at all.
a friend of mine, living in a house with this friend lives in a house. He and another person in that house both have arachnophobia. They had a
Why are you
pet
living in
tarantula.
Australia?
No,
Oh.
that they live in the UK. They had a pet tarantula for ages, and
Well, see,
both of the people, two of the people living in this house are deathly afraid of spiders.
tarantulas are fine because you can see them coming.
So my
Yeah, but-
biological mother found I had
It's those
arachnophobia.
little teeny motherfuckers.
They'd accidentally ended up with this pet spider because someone else had the pet spider and couldn't look after it. So said, "Can you look after the spider?" And they took in the
Look
spider
at here, that's funny.
and just kind of, "Oh well, we've got this spider now. I can't look at it, so you'll have to feed it." Eventually, it was, I can't look at it either. So eventually,
Tony Jesus says, "Not if you're flat Earth Aussie Jesus. He walks barefoot, and the spiders can just feel his love."
So funny story. I used to have a pet snake named Shoe. This is an important fact. I also had arachnophobia for many, many, many years.
Mhm.
So my biological mother decides, oh, my child has arachnophobia. Let me get them a pet spider to, cure the arachnophobia. Upon which I fed to the snake.
Oh my!
I was not having that. No.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I was like, And my snake was like, yummy.
Just where did the spider go?
Oh, Mark Caesar has a great poem about ducks and penises in the side chat. I can read it aloud if you like.
Oh, go on.
Out of the west rode Mighty Mick, the only guy with a corkscrew dick. He searched the world from pole to pole to find a girl with a corkscrew hole. He found a girl, but fuck me dead. The silly old bitch had a left-hand thread.
Oh dear.
Oh my!
Oh my.
Oh, I love a good bit of poetry. That wasn't a good bit of poetry, but I love a good bit of poetry.
Yeah. Orla's, say, got covered by baby garden spiders the other week.
Oh!
I remember
That was great.
when I was living in New York, apparently we had a spider hatching in the ceiling, and since the ceiling fan was going, they were ballooning down on threads. That yeah, for several days we had literally hundreds of tiny green spiders parachuting down from the ceiling.
Oh.
No,
That sounds
way.
so cute.
No.
The only time
hell
I've
to the
actually had a
no.
problem. The only time I've actually had a problem dealing with a spider is I was sitting in the living room and there was a spider on the floor. And, normal human hand size, this spider would take up most of the palm.
Okay.
I was looking at it going, oh, that's a nice spider. This is a nice big one. It's very pretty looking. And then the spider moved. And the spider moved at a rate faster than I would have been able to cross the room. And I just went, no, you got to go outside.
Oh my!
Yeah, I was not
spiders.
having that.
I don't like.
There was going to be none of that in my badger burrow.
I
That's
don't.
like
I don't like ticks.
Oh, no. Ticks are awful.
that's like last year here in the building. Somehow a wolf spider got into my apartment between the screen and the window. I had to bang every damn door down for somebody to come and get this thing out of my house because I wasn't looking at it. I mean, these things are as big as your big toe. I was like,
I
oh, hell no.
I
they
love
We have
bite you?
them.
designated Cirrus as the bug
They
killer.
don't bite. They're fine. They just jump.
Yeah.
I don't care if they don't bite. It's a spider. It's got to go.
I
It no.
I like
I
spiders.
understand that. It's just I would rather know that there was a harmless spider in my house rather than one that could, like, I don't know, dissolve my leg.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
got you.
recluse.
Spiders are
It's the
messed up.
recluse spiders that I don't like. Other than that, I'm pretty much like live and let live.
I no, neither. Neither is fine.
Live in the Vita spider.
I mean, if my room is a spider-free zone, if a spider comes into my room, I scream
dead.
and I grab Cirrus.
Oh,
Aw.
you're so cute.
Oh,
Let loose more spiders.
No.
Release the spiders.
Well, what people often don't get is if you're seeing any significant number of spiders, the spiders aren't a problem. The spiders are a symptom of a problem.
Exactly.
They wouldn't be there unless there were a lot of other bugs for them to be eating. So if you
Exactly.
kill all the spiders, you're going to be infested with something else.
You definitely lived in New York.
Just don't like spiders. I don't like bugs. I don't like either.
we should get insects.
Yes. Well, if I have to choose, okay, stop barking, Belvedere. Stop, please. If I have to choose
That's
one,
Mr. Belvedere
Yes.
to you.
if I have to choose one, it's going to be the creepy crawly that is going to be stationary 99.9% of the day, and that's going to be the spider. It's going to get rid of the bugs, and it's going to be best friendo. I used to actually have, on my old corner desk that I had made a long time ago, I used to actually have a spider that like had made its nest under the left-hand side of the desk. So like all I had to do was make sure that I didn't bump my knee over there, and my whole area never had any bugs at all because they fucked away from the spider.
I would not be okay with that. Like, no.
Well, you don't have to be, but leave enough spiders for the rest of us.
Oh, the spiders can be in the rest of the house.
Only spiders that.
I'll ship them to you, my dear.
No.
And only spiders
I
that
meant Faye.
I don't want on around me are ones that move faster than I do. Yeah, if the spider can cross the room quicker than I can cross the room, that guy's going outside. I'm not having none of that.
Well, he was just waiting for you to open the door for him.
My room, this is a spider-free zone. If spider come in here, spider die.
I love your wall color, by the way, Aaron.
It's pretty.
I love that aqua blue. It's gorgeous.
And just to go back to penises again, obviously.
Yes.
We've got the
One track mind, huh?
the male Malabar spider is quite an interesting one because after mating, that leaves its two palps behind inside the female. And then if another male spider wants to mate with a female, it can take the bits out.
I suppose that's one way of laying claim to mate.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. Well, I left my dick in there, so.
Scorpions actually have detachable penises. They plant them in the ground, and then they have to maneuver the female over it.
That's stupid.
I don't know what any of you were picturing, but I'm picturing like the little
Beep, 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 beep.
That sounds like a really overly complicated dildo.
You gotta back that thing up.
let's see
This is
here.
all part of a perfect plan, is it? No, hang on. No.
I don't know how we got in this position though. That like, no, it's a bit of a subject. It's a bit of a subject change, but I don't know how we got in this position where like, I don't know. We constantly have to like monitor who's doing the right thing. Like, oh well, that person has an agenda, or I don't know what I'm trying to say. Ignore me.
What were you saying?
I have an agenda that spiders are okay as long as they don't.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then-
it's just
Spiders are okay as long as they're not in my apartment. They can
Understood.
exist.
Spiders are never
they-
okay.
they
just
exist
leave enough for the
outside.
rest of us.
Okay, so Aaron, I have a thought experiment here. Why particularly are spiders not okay?
Because they give me heart attacks.
Okay, cool. So if somebody were to say that gay people are not okay because it gives them heart attacks, would that then make gay people on the whole not okay as a matter of
No.
reality?
No, that's not how
Okay,
that
cool.
works.
So what you're agreeing with is that spiders are okay as a matter of reality. You just personally don't like them.
I hate you. No, spiders are not okay.
Spiders are okay outside in nature where they belong.
Spiders are
just
not
don't
okay in my space.
Spiders
Right,
are okay in my
right.
space.
You can have all of them.
Cool.
Yeah, spiders
Yeah,
can have
we'll never go to
MySpace.
your
I use
office again.
YouTube. I use Facebook.
I've been trying to talk to one of the teenagers about her abject terror and fear of spiders because she's going to have a driver's license soon, and I don't want the little tiny drop down spider coming down off the visor creating a car crash.
True.
That's how I would get into a car crash. That or fainting. And one of those I can't control.
I used to have a lot of problems
That's
driving.
frightening. Why? Spiders?
My particular, I'm dyslexic along with a few other things. I have a tendency, if I'm in a circumstance that I don't know how to deal with, I tend to just freeze and not move. And that does not work when you're driving.
No, it doesn't.
Hey!
There we
you
go.
broke
Here's
my
our
hand.
internet expert.
Speaking of bugs,
Oh,
Purple
no,
it might be.
My issue
Speaking of
is
bugs
I
and
start to
spiders.
stress and then my heart goes up and then my body go no.
We may or may not be discussing spiders.
That's okay.
yeah, I was just checking out dolphin penises personally because they are really
Oh, dear.
weird as well. But yeah, okay.
sharks have two.
So we know Pure's brain and where Pure's brain is, just in the gutter over there.
So I just saw a thing that makes me physically ill.
Oh no.
And I think that you all might want to be made aware of it. So we're all aware of who Tommy McMurtry, the Gordophile, is, correct?
Oh,
Yeah.
He's the pumpkin. He likes
yeah.
pumpkins, doesn't he?
Allegedly, we can't
Okay.
prove it.
Allegedly.
It's possible.
Here's the
Yeah,
here's the
We
important
just
thing.
don't know.
Okay, who here is familiar with Florida's
One-
stand your ground law?
One second.
Yeah,
What
I
is it?
am.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. For those who are not familiar, either in the audience or who are not familiar with regional laws here in America, Florida's stand your ground law basically says that if somebody comes onto your property and you deem them a threat to you in any way, shape, or form, you can shoot them and you can escalate all the way to murder.
Right.
Yep.
So,
And you get away
It's
with it.
really, really difficult to deal with those cases in a forensic standpoint.
yes. So, here's a thing that Tommy McMurtry has literally just said in a sermon, and I just watched this
Oh my
while we
God,
were having a
no.
conversation. He said, and I quote, "I hope that there are protests, and I hope that they get violent, because I want to use Florida's stand your ground law to kill them."
Ay, ay, ay.
If anybody has any questions as to whether or not the NIFB as an organization is looking to commit genocide with their own fucking hands, he literally just said it in a fucking sermon.
How is he not
Mark Caesar,
in
I don't want to
prison?
ask him.
How is he not in prison? Because do they need a body count? Like, what is going on here?
It's called freedom of speech.
That is
Unfortunately.
no. That is not freedom of speech.
So actually, unfortunately, yes, it is, because here in America, one, hate speech is protected, unfortunately.
Yep.
Two, the way that they frame this, even though it's an overt call to violence, the way they frame this is always in the second hand. And when you frame a call to violence in the second hand, you can avoid legal recourse. So when you say, I don't want to kill them all, I want the government to kill them all, you have now framed it in the second hand,
you now are no longer legally responsible for your language.
But that statement isn't in the second hand.
But legally it is.
It is.
Legally it is. Legally it's in the
it
second
is.
hand. Legally you get to pull a Pontius Pilate and wash your hands of it. You and I recognize that in reality it's not in the second hand. In reality it's just wanting somebody to do your dirty work for you, but the dirty work's still getting done.
Right.
You and I realize
that. It's a different state, but Manson didn't do it himself. He incited the violence. There is kind of like
But it was different. But it was different in the 60s than it is now.
No, it's not. That's not how law works.
It's the way the law is interpreted. It's not necessarily how it works. The law was no different, but it's a matter of how our members of Congress interpret that law.
No, that's not how law works.
If law was not a fluid thing that changed, then Roe v. Wade would not be in contention right now.
Exactly.
Law literally changes by A, the people who are there to interpret the laws, and B, the person who is arguing the case. These things will affect individual cases.
Mm-hmm. It's not right, but it's how it is.
If anyone dies because of this rhetoric, more than likely that person is going to be held in full accountability for, like, I don't know, coming up with a murder plot?
No, McMurtry will say, I did not tell anyone to kill them.
As an example, the Christchurch shooter specifically noted people like Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro and Donald Trump as his idols, people that led him down this path, and none of them are A, facing backlash from their parties, and B, facing any legal recourse.
Because they didn't specifically tell him to go out and do this.
You see, the thing with this whole pumpkin boy is what...
Oh, nice picture.
What we need to do is we just need to calm this whole situation down a little bit. And just kind of, that is one of the few things that, as a freedom of speech kind of advocate, that's one of the few things that I specifically say, direct incitement to violence is not, that's not okay. That is where the limit is.
Unfortunately, we're only a small group. It's the herd mentality that says, oh, it's perfectly fine as long as he doesn't directly say to go out and kill all the gays.
Doesn't the standard ground law only apply to the home? Otherwise, you have a duty to retreat.
No, because they used that case against the young man a few years ago who was walking down the street in a hoodie without any weapon, and Mr. Vigilante, and Mr. Vigilante decided that he was a threat and executed him on the street.
And got away with it.
Yeah.
Well, the way it actually works is if you're a white man shooting a black man, it's fine. If you're a black man shooting a white man, that's murder.
I'm not arguing.
And if you're a white woman that gets killed by your John, that's too bad. But if you're a white woman that kills her John, you go to jail for the rest of your life.
It's all a mess.
Can we go back to the spider chat?
Yeah, I like the spider chat better.
Me too. I was probably it's like conversation.
Yeah, well, we were talking about different insect penises, so...
Hey, Adrienne, how many penises does a cockroach have? We were talking about this. Now we need an expert advice.
Yeah, that was one of the questions that was brought up.
Legitimately.
Brought up, how many penises does a cockroach have?
I tried doing a Google image search for this and did not have much success.
How many penises did a cockroach have? Is that
yes?
What I just
How
heard?
many penises does a cockroach have?
I just don't know that one. I haven't looked at a lot of insect penises.
The only true answer here is it has just enough penises.
It has as many
Enough
as
Welcome,
to do the
Nadine.
job. Yeah.
Nadine, this is not because we're going to challenge you to do an actual, crochet of an insect penis.
Well,
Oh, penis girl.
A really tiny one.
I've done a tiny penis.
Now you gotta do a spider with multiple penises.
Multiple. However, there is no specified number.
Oh, okay.
I'm on.
If you guys are wondering, I got a new toy.
Ooh.
It's a drawing tablet thingy.
I saw
I
that
thought it was gonna be
notification about you doing an unboxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I just have to figure out how to use it. I managed to do this so far.
It's like a spider. I think I can see it. No, never mind.
I
Never
think I
mind.
see a penis over there.
Yeah. So, Cirrus was saying stuff that makes me really want to cry. Cirrus, why you do that all the time? That was some horrible. This some stupid shit. That's all I can say. It's like,
I'm sorry that all I can say is I am sorry that it upset you, but it is a good thing that it upset you.
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You're a mean boy, Cirrus.
Cirrus is very mean. It's just
I
like
like him that
Cirrus
way.
is
I like him too. Don't get me wrong. It's just this whole.
I think this is the second time I've been in a live stream chat with you, Cirrus, and the first time I had a terrible microphone and sounded like a malfunctioning battle droid while trying to talk to you about the intricacies of Star Wars lore.
Oh, you don't now.
Yes, now you sound like a protocol droid.
I recorded a whole video with my
Yes,
laptop.
I'm Bad-Tempered Badger, the Badger Cyborg Relations.
I'm not saying bad-tempered badger likes is sexually attracted to robots. We just don't know.
Well,
So I put a question in. I think that was
I'm going to switch back to a normal
ask the
face.
person who knows what decomposed body parts look like.
I want to be decomposed body parts when I die.
Okay, look, when decomposed body parts are looking at you, you are either about to be killed by Sylvanas or really high.
No, but a decomposed leg
I wish I was really high.
decomposes at a much quicker rate than like a whole body. So if you just have a dead body and then you have a decomposed body, or not a dismembered body, that's the word I'm looking for. But they're two bodies and they're roughly the same height and weight and same demographic. The dismembered body will actually decompose faster than the whole body.
Well, yeah,
Well,
that
there's
would
more
make
surface
sense.
area,
Just
isn't
more
there?
exposed surface area.
Yeah. More exposed. I suppose the surface area that is exposed is more internal tissue as well.
Yeah. Which
Nadine.
Yes, honey.
Have you seen the stuffed Cirrus?
The stuffed Cirrus?
It's a plushie.
Oh, you haven't seen the Cirrus plushie? Yes, I made Cirrus a plushie. I don't know if Cirrus is a. Yeah, I crochet. Yes.
Awesome.
I did.
Are we
crochet.
friends on? I don't remember. Are we friends on Twitter?
No, I don't know. I'll have to look you up.
Okay. It's Vic Callan, VICCALLAN.
Okay.
It confuses people. I've named I've named it after my grandfather. So so I confuse people because they can't find me.
VICCALLAN.
CALL.
Yeah, I see ya. I found you.
You found me.
I
Awesome.
found you. Yes, I'm following you now.
Awesome. I'll follow you. I'll get to follow you back. Let's see.
If it has sloth in the name, it's me. So
I think I'm following most everybody in the chat currently.
I'm looking at my further away monitor.
I think it just told that. Let me try that again. I think it just told me that you're following me now.
Oh, I just followed you because I wasn't following you before.
Yeah, let me. It just popped up with something. Let me. Yep, there you are.
beautiful bracelet, Nadine.
Oh, which
There
one?
you
Oh, this
go.
one? Thank you. That's
The rainbow. The on your YouTube or on your Twitter.
Okay,
Rainbow.
that one. Awesome, thank you. I got a lot of stuff going on. So.
What chain is that one? What pattern is that chain?
The one on the Twitter is Byzantine.
Byzantine, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, you and I could get on this and just talk forever.
I've got the one on my Twitter is there's my regular channel and my craft channel.
Your Etsy.
So, yeah. There's the Etsy, but there's a craft channel. I do a craft channel too, but it's been I've had a rough winter with pain and stuff, and I haven't been able to do a whole heck of a lot. But Doc put me on some meds, and hopefully it'll fix it. So
have you tried CBD oil?
No, I'm not. I don't try shit that's not scientifically tested.
I'm scientifically testing it, and it's working great for me.
Yeah, no,
It's not quite.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, that's not how that works. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's people are sitting there. You can't be allergic to that. Yeah, there's people allergic to water, and I'm allergic to rice. Rice makes me go blind.
Hey, Cyrus, show Nadine your plushie.
Just a second. I gotta get the screen back.
It's not going to matter because I'm not currently at my desk.
Oh,
okay. I posted in the chat that I had to hop off. And then I
saw that.
Connecting by my phone.
Tweet is it tweeted out? Because I can find it that way.
Tony Design says.
I can go get it.
I mean, if you want to go grab it, go ahead.
Okay.
Tony Design says in the chat we need a life-size plushie Cyrus. We got one. He's in the chat with us.
No, that's meat Cyrus. That's not the real Cyrus.
Meat Cyrus. That's not fluff Cyrus.
He's cuddly though.
Yeah,
Aaron went to get him.
I did a version of a God's lightning dick for
what's this?
GE.
Oh, here he comes.
You gotta say things.
Awesome.
Looks just like him, don't it?
That's pretty awesome.
You gotta say things. Get yourself on the screen.
The real Cyrus.
Yeah, you have to talk.
Talk, Aaron.
Aaron?
No.
She can't hear.
There we go.
There you go.
Oh, he's gone. Come back.
I'm just gonna hold plushie Cyrus for the rest of the stream.
Purple, you can present Aaron. Is that Aaron?
Yes, that's Aaron.
I'm looking at the screen that's way far away, and I can't really see it.
This is Aaron from Aaron's chair.
Yeah, I am.
Is that the chair?
I don't usually use that one. Way over there for. I usually use that one for my
The chair is a reference to
videos.
the fact I use a wheelchair.
Awesome.
Hang on, let me move to my chair just a second.
But does he look like his avatar or what?
Yeah, looks awesome. I love it. That's
because I actually have a Eller Stanley.
That's the Weeby doll pattern. It's on Ravelry and it's by Laura Tagg.
Awesome.
They're really simple and easy to make. I've made like 24 of them. I make them and give them away.
Do you want to see what I'm?
Of course.
Working on. Purple. Do you mind if I show what I'm working on?
Are you even awake, baby?
There we go. I'm moving to my chair. I think
he fell asleep.
Now.
Purple?
I think Purple fell asleep.
Is this supposed to be a PG chat?
Purple.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
It doesn't have to be PG just as long as it's not something that's going to get my channel banned.
Oh, okay, because it's my plush. I don't think it will. But
I don't think it will.
I don't think it will.
We'll find out. Yeah.
We'll find out. There's my
little teeny weeny peeny.
It's a variegated rainbow thread.
Okay. Hey, it's a gay pride penis.
Yeah, pretty much. But I've got one on the works. That's a little. This is one that I'm working on.
You got to make me one for a keychain so I can hang it on my keys. I'm a collector of keychains. Oh, I like it. Now it needs a set of blue balls and it'll be all set.
Yeah. Well, I made that. I made the blue balls one for G and KC.
Spooky bed hair says plushy penis.
Plushy penis. Actually, I showed my brother, and he's like, his wife said something about black penises, and I'm like, so am I gonna have to make her a black one for Christmas? So he's like, do it.
What?
So she's getting a black stuffed penis.
Make it pillow sized, yeah. Hey,
No,
'cause you know,
she wanted a realistic size one, so she's gonna. I don't know. I'm just gonna make it. I'm just gonna make it out of worsted weight thread, and I'm gonna get a couple of squeezy, the squeakers for the dog toys,
so it
for the balls. So
make it squeakies.
And the same guy that did up that pattern, it's Betty Benton or something like that. Just message me, and I can point you towards it if you want it. But he does up boobs too. So my brother's going to get a set of knockers with squeakers in it.
Squeaky boobs. Honk, honk.
That's for Christmas. So
that's awesome.
I just when he said that, he's like, do it, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess somebody's getting a dick for Christmas.
If you want to really complicate
a dick and a set of boobs,
and I'm like, I'm going to have to have a PG warning on your Christmas gifts so you don't open them up with the grandchildren
in front of the children. Exactly. Cyrus left again. He'll be back.
He'll be back. Awesome.
I've moved to my chair now, everyone, so we're all comfortable here.
Oh no, Mark Caesar, don't go there.
Mark, what's Mark doing? Hey, Mark.
Nadine Walla, are you going to make it hollow so that you can get a cucumber into it?
Well,
you're gonna make it hollow.
That didn't work out for you very well.
Well, I was thinking.
At least it's completely washable. Don't make it out of wool; it might shrink in the dryer.
Well, it's gonna be.
Hey, the only penis I know that shrinks when it gets hot.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. But the pain's been so bad that I'm just like I'm doing mostly on computer stuff, creative stuff.
Nothing wrong with that either.
It is what it is, and you do what you gotta do.
Well, it's amazing that you can work in that small scale when you have those kind of pain issues.
Tell me.
Yeah. Well,
apparently Johnny Drive-By got blocked by SJ today.
Oh,
congratulations! Well done.
You must be so sad.
That's brilliant. Good work.
I still haven't got blocked. Damn it!
Oh,
Still
just
try my best.
Oh, believe me.
I should go on her page and just put abortion all over it. That'll get me blocked.
Probably not.
Steady on with that.
Probably not. She I think she permanent blocked me though, because I keep calling her out for Moss incident.
I have managed to avoid ever directly interacting with her, so that's the only reason I'm not blocked.
Yeah.
Interacting with who?
SJ.
Oh.
I
love that response. You say the words SJ and everybody goes, oh.
Yeah.
I've managed to have a few productive conversations with her, but I've also managed for Twitter chats to go all sideways.
I like that you don't even have to say the whole name, just the first two initials.
SJ.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone else still talking to what they called Eve Kaninen on the Twitters?
Eve?
The Twitter.
I haven't interacted with Eve. Luckily enough. Come on.
Well, you see,
I don't know who that is.
She's supposedly like a philosophy.
There we go.
Teacher, I think. I'm not even sure anymore. Anyway, I was having a whole back and forth interaction with her on the Twitter, and I actually gained some respect for Eve in spite of all the other things, because I was having a whole back and forth with her on Twitter, and someone asked her how she defines an atheist, and she answered in Greek. So I replied saying, well, you haven't answered the question. You put it in a language that nobody here speaks, so that's kind of dick move. And she's there saying, well, that it's not my problem that you can't read Greek. So I replied calling her a coward in the fictional Mandalorian language.
Awesome.
So then she replied, not only in the fictional Mandalorian language, but in the fictional Mandalorian lettering. So she'd gone through, spent some time translating into the language and then into the lettering to reply, calling me essentially a dickhead and to tell me to fuck off. And I was there like,
Oops.
well done.
I would go as far as doing something up in binary.
If you're gonna
That's
insult
my
someone, at
favorite.
least do it classily.
Yeah, that one I was kind of, well done. So I just replied with essentially a congratulations in the
Clap, clap,
Mandalorian
clap.
language and lettering. Like, well done. That was good.
Et tu, Brute?
If you're going to spend that much time to research and respond to something, wouldn't it have been easier to just answer the original question?
Oh, it would have been, but that's more fun.
Well, it's just the
That way
some
you
of them
get to
are.
beat someone at their own game. And in this case, that someone who got beaten at their own game was me.
You're like, damn!
I was just there like, shit.
Shit.
Looks like I've been had.
That's why I go for like Tolkien Elvish. Nobody knows Tolkien Elvish.
Nobody knows Mandalorian, but she still did it.
I'm getting this thing figured out. See, I built a flower. Isn't it pretty?
Ah.
I think
need
I'm.
the little glove as well, so your finger doesn't get stuck on the pad.
Yeah, that's not the problem. I do have the little glove, but
Oh.
it's only like this size. It's just one of the.
Nice.
It's
So
just
it's
a
your
little.
pad.
Yeah, it's just a
An
little
iPad size.
signature pad is what it's called.
Oh,
It's a
that's cool.
Huey
Huey Lewis and the News?
H420. Yeah, something like that. But it was like 35 odd bucks on Amazon, and had enough in my PayPal for it, so I ordered it, and because I want to learn how to use it for doing Blender stuff. And so now I'm just trying to get used to moving it around, because I at one time I drew a lot. And I actually like drawing. I like doing like practically everything creatively. So it's just I have to figure out how to use this thing, and it's not very you hold it way above to get it just to move the mouse, and it's really a bit
Touchy?
difficult. Yeah, it's really difficult to get it figured out where you hold things and stuff, and where you gotta get it to click and things. But once I get that figured out, it'll be fine.
Oh, it's kind of like sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes, I went there.
You got different pressure settings on it as well. So
Oh,
depending
yeah,
on how
there's-
hard-
Figure out where everything goes.
Yeah, and it's like me
Bye,
here.
Orla.
I've got things to change, and I don't know how I did it. So just by waving my magic wand, it's a magic wand.
I can't draw
I
with
just
a
thought-
mouse.
I have a
Yeah.
question.
Mhm.
How do you do the green screen thing? Because I'm in front of green screen too.
Aha! You have to watch
says
my
use
video.
lime green.
I'm gonna do up a video on how to set
Oh,
up the green
okay.
screen through Hangouts. So
Okay.
I'll be right back,
I'm
everyone.
not, I
If you could
won't
do
I
something.
won't evolve that. I'll just push that video ahead and do that up right away for you, because
Okay.
it's
We have a
once you
couple
get
of
it figured
na-
out. It's pardon.
Purple, we have some naked people in chat, by the way. Spooky's naked, and Insects Are Cool is naked.
Oh,
Well,
awesome.
I'm naked.
Woo! No pants.
Yeah.
I'm very not.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. 'cause they're
Insects
on
Are Cool
screen.
was not naked. I can see her.
According to me, it's naked. Her, you smart ass. Well, it's better than being a dumbass, I guess. Well, she's naked in chat. She's naked in the side chat.
No. Naked people in the chat rooms is just, you expect that. A certain percentage of these people are going to be naked anyway. I keep telling you people, you're lucky I don't own a camera.
Oh, he's not kidding.
Awesome.
Trust me on this. I live next door. He's not kidding.
Awesome. Well, what I should have done was set up my doohickey thing. Oh, why can't my brain work? Well, it was the chummy with the doohickey to get the whatchamacallit working.
With the what's it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. See? You speak my language.
Yeah. It's very technical.
Things.
I don't.
You speak K1 P2.
Absolutely. Actually, I don't.
RGEC3.
I don't do much knitting.
Okay, 1SC, 2SC.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. But I do know, I don't do much knitting because, I made mutant socks. The hole was too small to put your foot through, and the foot part could fit 3 feet in it. It was my first.
SC3DC.
Yeah. now you're sounding like R2D2.
Hey, being a crafter, we have a whole different language nobody else understands.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's true for any trade.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, I killed the chat. I'm sorry.
No.
If it was murder, I'd be dead.
No, I got a couple of messages, so I have to. I'm addicted. Look, guys, it's the Twitters and the stuffs and my honey and
and reasons.
No, it's reasons.
Yeah, I don't see how people can really keep up with Twitter anyway.
Oh, I don't. I actually had a Twitter for what? How long does it say I had a Twitter for? I've had a Twitter since January 2011, and until my honey came along, I barely used it. I tweet like 5 times a year, and I didn't even look at most anything.
When was my last tweet? My last tweet was this. Before that, I think it was a me going off and being frustrated tweet.
Has anyone seen Ocean's last?
Oceans? No.
Yeah.
It was
He was replying to the news.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
he's trying to contact a journalist. So
is he awesome?
If you can, retweet him. See if
Awesome. I will do
help
that.
him out.
Because I've got I kept
I had 2 tweets.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had 2 days I tweeted once each in a row.
Yeah. Let's see. Ocean.
Yeah, I'm looking it up myself.
Yeah, because I
there it is.
Casey posted a bunch of stuff that I retweeted to all of our news agencies. like all of our major news outlets and stuff, and a whole bunch of different papers from different places too. So I just keep tweeting it at them. Yeah, it's there we go. We'll do the same thing.
Pastor Boyle grabs dicks. That's hilarious. Now we're all busy on the Twitter.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you could draw a pumpkin. No, I'm actually looking at bee penises. They can turn inside out.
What?
I know, inside out. That's weird.
No, what kind of penises can turn inside out?
Bee penises from the drone. Yeah.
No, have you seen, what is it, echidna? Is it echidna?
Oh,
The tiny echidna?
The echidna penis is peni. Is it?
no,
I could be
I haven't
wrong.
seen those.
I haven't. I can't remember if it's the echidna, or how about the tapir?
Oh, but those guys look so cute.
Tapir penises are something.
I've only got 10 tabs open, but I'll add another.
Apparently, somebody got the Liberty Baptist Church's PayPal account shut down.
Yeah.
How unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
By the way, I have over 20 tabs open right now.
I fixed my tab problems with a program called Friends.
So
it hooks up all my social networking inside of it, and I can enable and disable if I want it, and it's kind of slick.
Bionic Dance is awesome. She just wrote another one. A homophobe Baptist named Tommy is as gay as a purple tsunami. That country's bumpkins, attracted to pumpkins, and also to other men's salami. Bionic Dance is awesome at that. She's been doing a ton of
limericks are
those.
fun. Yeah, I love them.
Oh, yes, and especially Tommy McMurtry ones.
Well, on Twitter last night, Lady Unicorn brought up a very relevant point that no one had mentioned, as far as I had known. That had anyone asked the pumpkins how they felt about this?
Yeah.
Oh, poor pumpkins.
You know, and
what about the pumpkins?
Yeah, is this non-consensual pumpkin sex?
Ah.
Well, and then also, an 18-year-old pumpkin would basically be decomposed. So doesn't that basically mean these are all underage pumpkins?
Yeah, absolutely. And if it is of age, then is it necro or something? You know?
Yeah, it'd be some kind of necrophilia.
Oh my.
Brains go to weird places.
No, I just found my first tweet ever, and my Twitter is still blocked by Trump.
Yay! Good for you.
Woohoo!
Here's one of the Bionic Dances. Tommy McMurtry's the guy whose sexuality is the big lie. Although he denies it, he better revise it, because we all know he loves pumpkin pie. That was Bionic Dance.
I like it.
Yeah.
Although she could get herself into trouble, see, because she's not offering the disclaimer.
True. I mean, we're not saying he's sexually attracted to minor pumpkins, but we just never know. And I'm not going to ask him.
Nah.
No, I'm too lazy.
I don't want to know. Each to his own pumpkin patch.
You know what gets me is the whole obsession with other people's sex lives that they have.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, what the hell does it matter? Like, it's keep your nose out of my drawers, and we're gonna be fine.
and that includes the abortion issue. The same thing.
That's a spot
Just
in my
keep your no-
drawers.
Keep your nose out of my
Put my
drawers and
nose-
we'd be just fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But what if I
Exactly.
want to put my nose in your drawers?
Well, then it's consensual.
Right.
It's consensual knows the drawers. That's fine. It's the non-consensual, everybody with their nose up my ass business, that I just, don't get. It's like, why does everybody need to be in my bedroom? It's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. I'm not a voyeur.
Aren't we all technically in your bedroom right now?
Yes, but I'm allowing you to be.
Yes.
Yeah, and
and technically you're on my bed. If you really want to get into it, you're technically on my bed. Because I can't sit on a chair anymore. It hurts my back too bad.
Put a pair of panties on your computer and they could be in your drawers too.
Well, technically I'm always in my drawers, so
Yeah.
and I suppose I could hang a pair here somewhere.
Hang a pair of panties over your computers and everybody's in your drawers.
Absolutely. Or I could just put my phone in my drawers.
But then we wouldn't be able to hear you.
I'm not touching that.
It's not that my camera's off, it's that my camera is down my pants, so it's just black. Yeah.
Well then.
First, you remember when the cell phones just started to become small and popular,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about those big honking things. When I first got my own cell phone and it had the vibrate on it and I had it in my pocket and somebody called me, I'm like, I ain't answering.
That's more baby.
Call me again. Call me again.
Do it again.
Sorry, you'll have
Do
to
it
call
again.
back. I'm not dressed properly.
Call me again. Call me again.
Oh, text me again, baby. It feels so good.
Well, there wasn't text back then. Come on. Like, you gotta be kidding me.
actually, I heard a lot of stories about people using pagers for that.
I wouldn't doubt it, but I never owned a pager, so
I did. I'm that old.
Well, I'm that old too. I just never owned one because I didn't need one. I didn't work in tech until
How low?
2000. So that's when I started carrying a cell phone. So
Let me correct this travesty.
Which what?
Yes, I was just watching how Aaron's camera was being slowly blocked by this wall of black.
Oh.
For the pet.
Well, I could I could be a little funnier, I suppose.
Nadine, check the side chat. I sent you a link.
Okay. Am I disappeared yet?
Everybody disappeared.
Oh, she's got an invisibility cloak.
Okay, yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, okay. Side chat in the thingy.
On
YouTube.
YouTube.
On the YouTubes.
Yeah, it's what I'm working on now.
Oh,
I got the
What the
gesso
heck?
on last night.
That should not have opened up in that window. Back.
Yeah,
Badger and
unfortunately, the
raccoon.
YouTube side chat has an annoying habit of doing that.
Yeah. It's just like, damn it. What the hell? Open link in new tab. Thank you.
There you go.
There I go.
What's the moniker?
Okay,
what's
bye,
the,
Andrea.
What is it called again? The NN what?
The NIFB,
NIFB?
the New Independent Fundamentalist Baptists.
Oh dear.
And I'm sad to say I know that.
I'm wondering how many states they're in.
About 30.
Don't think there's any around here.
No, it's pretty much strictly an American thing.
Yeah,
They're in America.
well,
that's not something I would.
They're in other countries, actually.
It's in a lot of countries, including Canada, in the West, in BC, Alberta, and Manitoba.
There's America,
Or
Canada.
Saskatchewan.
There's
Sorry.
2 in England.
Oh.
So there's 2 in the UK. Badger. And then they have
Run, Badger, run.
in a country in
What are
Southern.
they doing over here?
What's up?
Oh, no one's
What are
that
they doing
stupid over
over
here, are they?
here?
Oh dear.
We don't want them
Unfortunately.
here.
Well, we don't want them here either.
You started it.
No, we didn't start it. He started it.
It'd be chlorinated chicken next.
Well, you guys push from your side, we'll push from our side, and we'll
You'll
just
get
lose
to put
them
them in
all
the
into the
ocean.
Marianas Trench.
We'll just leave them in the middle, like in the wet bit.
Yeah.
Let them create their own island where they can exist peacefully with no gays. They'd be happy.
Yeah, but then one of their offspring would turn out gay, and it'll come crashing down.
No,
How about we put
apparently
them all on Ken Ham's ark and put them out to sea?
Okay, I just
Yeah,
threw
but
in
that
the.
ark's not
With
seaworthy.
water damage?
Oh.
That's the whole point.
I think you missed the important part of that.
Oh, yeah. Just a little.
Look,
Okay.
I'm not saying that I would personally drown them, but if Ken Ham is a poor shipbuilder, that's not my fault.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah,
half
well-
of it just a building with a boat face glued onto it?
Don't say that out
Personally,
loud. He might
I
hear
like
you.
the humanizing of the.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to hurt Ken Ham's feelings.
He doesn't have any to hurt. Has anybody heard the?
Yeah.
Has anybody heard the Arky Arky song that they had? I'm rewriting it. It's gonna be funny.
I'm sure
I
that
haven't.
most people who attended any Christian church as a child have heard some version of that.
I
Are we going to
never
get a
have.
rendition now?
You know, God said to Noah, "We're gonna build an Arky Arky."
Oh yeah.
Yes. Now if you say it out loud, people. I'm rewriting it for Can Ham.
Yeah.
I'll be making a video soon. Okay, chat's broken.
Yeah, no, and she can actually sing. She's allowed to do musicals.
Purple is not.
No, I am going to eventually release a video of me singing and threaten people that if they don't subscribe on Patreon, I will make a full musical.
I could sing you a song if you like.
Saurians.
I could sing you a song if you like.
Yes.
Oh, go.
It's
Go for it, Badger.
It really it's known around these parts, and it really demonstrates the British sense of humour.
Okay.
And it goes like this. There's a lot more verses than I'm going to sing, but I don't know the rest of them. My granny went down to the cellar to see where the gas leak might be. She struck up a match to see better. Oh, bring back my granny to me.
I love that. But then again, I'm a fan of the Gashly Crumb Tinies. So.
It's lucky. I thought it was going to be the Down in the Valleys one.
Oh, which one is that? You sing that one.
Now you sing.
No, look, I don't know that, and it's terrible.
Oh, but please.
We need to be entertained. We have this thing called the interwebs. You can look it up.
I have to admit a guilty pleasure, and one of them is looking up the different, football, aka soccer chants that the crowds do. They're absolutely hysterical.
Oh dear.
What, like Millwall? You get a boot wrapped round your head, you get a boot wrapped round your head. That one.
I don't know that one. I just think it's kind
there's
of
a lot of
funny that
football chants.
there's these football chants and they're
What
just
I have is that I'm
make me
dyslexic.
laugh.
If I do the classic Brit thing and try to read lots of words with lots of syllables very quickly to sound clever, I stumble over it because I can't read quick enough.
I have the same problem. That's actually one of my problems with trying to write my scripts is I can actually type faster than I can read.
Yeah.
Dyslexics of the world, untie.
Actually, I can. I'll read something backwards, or I'll read
can barely
something.
read it forwards.
I'll read something. I'll say it backwards and write it correctly. Really kind of confusing.
I tend to start reading things from the middle, which is a problem with road signs. Let's say that I was, let's say that I was going to London. I might read it as Dunlon, and then I'd be very confused as to where I was going.
Oops.
I'm very used to reading things very quickly because I live with subtitles, and subtitles are great for me.
Awesome.
Just a little side note. Would anyone like me to read Data's poem in honor of his cat from Star Trek?
Oh yes, 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 yes.
I love that. Yes, please.
Go to my cat.
Oh, to my cat.
Because I don't know why, it's just popped in my head, and I thought I'm going to look it up and see if I can read it without stumbling over my words. Shall I have a go?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Go on.
Fucking-lutely.
This is a poem that I composed in honor of my cat. I call it Ode to Spot. Felis catus is your taxonomic nomenclature, an endothermic quadruped carnivorous by nature. Your visual, olfactory, and auditory senses contribute to your hunting skills and natural defenses. I find myself intrigued by your subvocal oscillations, a singular development of cat communications that obviates your basic hedonistic predilection for a rhythmic stroking of your fur to demonstrate affection. A tail is quite essential for your acrobatic talents. You would not be so agile if you lacked its counterbalance. And when not being used to aid in locomotion, it often serves to illustrate the state of your emotion. O Spot, the complex levels of behavior you display connote a fairly well-developed cognitive array. And though you are not sentient, Spot, and do not comprehend, I nonetheless consider you a true and valued friend.
Aww.
Aww.
Adorable.
A catable. Darn it.
Well, I've been trying to promote the Church of the Cephalopod.
Spaghetti monster.
Well, no, with the Church of the Cephalopod, one of the big things is we don't have dogma, we have catma. It's doctrine we know in advance everyone's going to ignore.
But aren't cephalopods like octopi and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, just because I was getting confused. I'm easily confused, guys, just so you know.
The Church of the Cephalopod is basically what you would get if Cthulhu was a pacifist.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Good thing he's not.
I still prefer the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster.
They do have noodly Goodman.
Our pasta, who art in calendar, Alfredo be thy name.
Have you been touched by the noodly appendage?
Yes. Yes.
And that's how we know the world to be a sphere, because he has meatballs, not patties.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly. You bastard. I'm getting the hang of this. Not really.
Has anyone heard of the book The Wonky Donkey?
Yes.
I've actually talked to you about that before.
Yes, that's where I heard it.
I found my copy. I was thinking of doing a YouTube program, just reading the weird stories that are out there, like
There.
when you give your mommy a glass of wine.
I built something.
Yay!
Yay!
And it almost looks about right. Shit. I forgot
Is
to
it
take
a
my
tree?
Is it a pumpkin?
Oh, that's what I was gonna build too. God.
Should have built a pumpkin.
Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta take my meds because I forgot to at supper. So,
Whoops.
yeah, and, all kinds of fun. I'll be right back.
That's it. We have to wait now.
Yeah, we must wait.
Okay.
No talking without Nadine.
This is the wrong time to
Actually, I've
mention.
got a joke.
Purple has a joke.
I can tell you a dyslexic joke if you like.
Go ahead.
Did you hear about the dyslexic bank robber?
No.
Oh, I think Nadine, are you back? No, you're not back. Well, allow me to just set the scene for you. The headphones on? Yeah, the headphones are on. Let me just set the scene for you. So there is a bank robber, and he's dyslexic, but he also has a thing that commonly tends to come with dyslexia is also an element of social anxiety. So he decides to pre-script the bank robbery and write down the script about how he's going to do it. So he writes the script, and of course they burst into the bank, guns held high, and because he's dyslexic, he reads the script as you would. Air in the hands, mother stickers. This is a fuck up.
Oh, wow.
So guys, I have an announcement.
Ooh.
Just so you know, while I was up, I hung a pair of panties on my computer. So
Cool. So
now you're
now
in
we're
my
all in-
drawers.
We're all in your pants. We're all in your drawers. Why? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in your drawers.
I can put my computer in a cabinet.
If you count the side chat, you got loads in there.
Of course, yeah. If you count the
and
side
we
chat,
now
you got
also
more
have
than 8 people in
Aaron's
your
cat's
drawers.
chair.
That's chair cat. Aaron's chair cat.
Chair. She looks so happy.
Meow, meow, meow.
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 Say something, kitty. Meow. Meow. She didn't give us your name. She didn't say what your name was.
It's cat.
This is Yumi.
Oh, Yumi. Hi, Yumi. Kitty, 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 kitty. She's like, Yumi don't give a shit. Meow. Meow. Yeah, Yumi don't care.
That's
I'm
not
gonna
a
go back
great
to look
video.
in my.
I had
I'm gonna go back
mentioned
to
like
look
in
at
the
my ads.
Lavender Lady that in one of the chats we should all just put up pictures of our cats on the screen and see how long it takes the people to figure out who's who.
See, that's where it gets interesting. There are 5 cats for me to choose from.
Well,
I
in that
got-
case, can you share some cat pictures for those of us who don't have cats?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't got no cats, so I
Yeah,
can't
I
have
don't.
no cat pictures.
There's plenty of free cat pictures out there.
How about rats? I've got rats. Will that do?
Yeah,
I
rats will do.
technically have rats, but they're not pet rats.
Oh, there's another interesting trivia question. Do you know why rats die from rat poison?
Because it's poisonous?
Yeah!
Thank you
Yeah,
for
well,
saying
yeah,
that. That's what I was
yes.
thinking.
But
Why do
because
rats die from rat poison?
because they can't throw up.
Do you know why humans die from poison?
Go on.
Go on.
Because it's poison.
Despite the
Yeah.
fact that they can throw up, it's still poison.
Well,
Yeah,
there you go.
but because rats can't throw up the poison, it stays in their system, and that's what they die from the poison.
They
Yeah,
sort
our
of can
system
throw up a
works.
little bit. They don't have a gag reflex, but they can eject fluid. They've got
Well,
sort of
Right, and there's also
a
one
different
other way.
mechanism instead of. But yeah, they can't
There's
gag.
another way for poisons to leave the body, and that's through the ass.
Yeah, but
rat's
you have to
not shit
digest
either.
it first.
Also, the British comedy YouTuber Tom Scar does not have a gag reflex.
A lot of people don't. No, I know some
Oh,
people
I
who
get
don't
it.
have
Yeah,
a
I
gag
get it.
reflex.
A
Like,
gag reflex.
Cockroaches cannot throw up, and because of this, they can be killed with bicarbonate soda.
Yes.
Cockroaches
Because
also
they
have a
will
lot of
eat it.
penises.
Well, they will eat it, and since they can't throw up or burp, it will cause their internal organs to swell until they crush things.
Awesome.
Or explode.
Well, one thing that we don't have to worry
That's
about
what
here is
internal
cockroaches.
combustion.
Yeah.
Internal combustion.
I have a chair now.
You know,
Yay!
you know the whole thing about if you feed seagulls baking powder, they blow up.
No, I didn't know that.
That is a thing.
Oh.
Now, apparently it is a true thing, but few people have seen the result of this. I haven't seen it actually happen, but I have found a seagull that it has happened to. It's not nice. It's a mess. But if you were to forensically examine it, I think you could determine what happened.
Wow. Gesundheit.
I'm not sure where I was
Well,
going with that
on
story.
that note, I need to go because I have to call my sister. She may the business that she works at may have dissolved today.
Don't go
Oh.
on that note of exploding seagulls then. Someone say something positive.
I've only got different things to do with penises and raccoons and the bones that you can make necklaces out of. That's it.
Well,
Ooh, raccoons are little bastards.
In some countries, they eat deer penis. So.
Oh dear. Keep telling you guys, I don't have any good jokes, so you're gonna have to deal.
Yeah, you definitely don't have a gag reflex.
Okay.
I have none of the above.
This is a joke that somebody said to me on a minibus. In a minibus earlier, they were handing me a mint so that I could have a mint, and they said to me, "Careful, that's in mint condition."
But I'm bumped.
I just looked at them and went, "Ah."
You didn't say thank you, Julep? That'll be for next time. I think I'm getting this thing figured out.
Okay, well, bye, Faye.
Yeah.
Okay, see you, honey.
Yeah, I just need to talk to my sister and
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She's definitely.
Hope things improve and everything works out. And with that,
Oh, we're hoping that the office does close. So.
well, in that case, hope things improve and everything works out the way you want it to.
Thank you.
Tell her good luck with that.
Yeah.
Well, with any luck, it does
I've lost
close
the
because
chat.
it
Oh, there
should
it is.
close. Anyway, have a nice day.
Okay.
Bye.
I'm getting loved on.
You
There you
certainly
go,
are.
stroking
What a
your pussy
cute-
online again.
What a
some people.
cutie! I love that cat. Oh well. Bye.
Bye.
Boy, oh, it's gone.
She's gone.
You know, Aaron, if you want to do that stuff, you should get on Pornhub.
I do have a Pornhub account.
A Pornhub? Is it all about
Yeah.
shrimp?
No, I made the Pornhub account because basically I wanted to say that I have a channel on Pornhub. If anyone asked me where can we find you on the internet, Mr. Badger, I could say, well, I'm on YouTube, I'm on BitChute, you can see me on the Twitter, I'm on Pornhub, all under Bad Tempered Badger.
And you've got an email address as well, haven't you, or something?
Yeah, but
Oh no.
the email address is just badger@cock.li.
That's awesome.
I use it to weed out people who might want to talk to me who take things too seriously.
Yeah, you definitely can't take anybody serious when they got a cock.
A friend of mine introduced me to this site. It has all kinds of fun emails. One of them is he has one which is just his name @comeallover.me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I'll get this thing figured out one of these days. It's like I think I've.
Oh, and I recently set one up for someone on that website, which is the name I think it was like sticks in his anus or something like that.
I'm getting cat kisses and love, and she's just like, pay attention to me now.
Aww. I'm not good with cats because mostly I'm very, very allergic to them. So they're pretty if they're not touching me or near me or drooling on me.
If you look at my channel, will notice I have certain issues with cats. I like cats, but I don't like outdoor cats.
Yeah.
Because they come in the garden and they eat the fucking wildlife.
Yeah, that's not fun.
That's not cool.
Well, that was originally the job we were keeping him around for.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's why there's so many of them, but they're doing it too much now.
Okay, so now I've got a little garden with one flower, and I have to put a pumpkin.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I can't draw a nice pumpkin with my knowledge of how to use this stupid thing yet.
I think the pumpkin has to have some sort of penis.
Bed Air in the chat says, I've always quite fancied a flute made from a human thigh bone.
That's what you call a real bone flute.
Rumpelstiltskin or something, or not what's a Pied Piper?
I do have a hand-carved Native American flute, which I made. And at the place where I went to make this, it was like a flute making workshop. One of the flutes they had there was made out of, I think, a deer bone.
Yeah.
It was a really nice little flute. It had a very clear just sound.
Okay, I got an announcement. Sorry.
Oh.
Somebody's checked into his flight.
Who's flying?
My honey. He's gonna be here in
a bit.
20 some hours. Just a second. He's
That's
gonna be
quite a long flight.
Well, no, he just checked into his flight because you do it the day before. One day, 5 hours, 24 minutes, and 31 seconds. not that I'm counting.
Tick tock.
Yep. Unfortunately, he arrives at like 11:30 odd at night, my time. It's like,
Well, a nighttime arrival can be good for some things, though.
Yeah. Make sure you clear that runway.
Yeah, but it's an hour and a half drive back here after.
You gotta make sure that runway's mowed.
I mean,
it's
nobody said you had to go all the way back to your house.
Well, yes,
I'm sure there's motels along the way.
Yeah, not really.
Get a camper van.
Damn it! I'm
trying. Borrow a friend's van.
Don't have no van either.
I could take a blanket in the back.
I
Hey,
could
the
have a
backseat!
motorhome, but it's I don't want to drive through the city with it because
I'll get
that's
a
what we're
narrow
going to be.
boat.
That's
And let me guess, you drive a compact car too.
No, I don't care about that. I've driven big vehicles. It's just I don't want to drive a 32-foot motorhome to a city.
Well, I'm just saying, if you don't have a compact, you've got a back seat.
Yeah.
Airport parking lot, way in the back. Nobody's gonna know.
I'm still waiting till I get home.
Couple of pillows and a blanket, and you're all set.
You know, actually,
he would agree with you, but I'm getting home first.
Well,
well,
like I
much,
said, just
much
make
of
sure you
it's
do
just
some
a
runway
question.
maintenance.
Do you want to
Much
set
of
the
it's just a
mood with
question of your
candles
agility.
and
What bright or what purple?
Much of it's just a question of your agility.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
I did it
Being
with a
big
woman.
girls back seat, yeah.
well,
I did it with a woman who was 6'4" in a '93 Geo Metro.
Ah.
outstanding work. That's good effort there.
Hey, I did it in the back seat of a Pinto, Ford Pinto, with a
Well-
stick. No, not that way, you pervert.
I don't think what I'm
the
imagining
question
is what you
is,
meant.
was there a second person involved, or did you just do it with the car?
That's the gear stick.
There was a second person involved.
Well, it wasn't during the first part of the story.
Well, I'm getting a little drunk here, so don't mind me. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Don't judge.
It's definitely 5 o'clock
It's
somewhere.
9:45 here.
And
It's almost 4 here.
It's 6:16 here.
Yeah, you are starting the drinking a little early here, aren't you?
Nah.
Well, I got up at stupid o'clock this morning, so I deserve
Well,
it.
I bought those Smirnoff Ices yesterday. I wanted to try it.
Yeah. Oh no, Badger, you're fine. You're like 6 hours ahead of us. No problem there.
Don't be judging.
I shall be getting out the laughing juice shortly. I'll be getting out the falling down water.
Oops.
I don't have a drinking problem. I drink, I get drunk, I fall down. No problem.
Oh. So
It's getting back up that's the problem.
Yeah.
No, that's not a drinking problem. That's a standing problem.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a getting back up problem.
Well, since I now socialize almost entirely through the internet, drinking isn't any issue at all. Because now the worst thing that happens is I'll pass out in my recliner with YouTube playing random videos.
Now,
And the cat singing in the background.
something that I can tell you has never happened is I haven't started during a live stream.
Not at all. Not once or ever or anything. Never.
I'm a complete professional when it comes to this sort of thing.
You should probably make that your intro.
Absolutely.
My live stream intro.
I like what Orla Seraph says. Time is a human construct, and not drinking in the morning is a cultural thing, so who cares?
Okay.
So how's that? Is that an acceptable pumpkin? Oh, my head's in the way. Oh, wrong way.
If I may quote for prefect, time is an illusion. Lunchtime doubly so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's an awesome pumpkin. You should send it to Jimmy.
There's pumpkin? Ooh, pumpkin.
I'm working on it. I gotta put a face on
Now
it.
you should draw another pumpkin with it. Ooh, pumpkin love.
I gotta
Put a little heart over their heads.
Yeah, I gotta draw.
I'll give it a face, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, don't draw a beard anymore because Tommy McMurtry shaved his off.
Okay.
I did. Did he shave it off because people were putting beards on pumpkins?
That and he trying to hide who he really is.
Or did somebody tell him that the word beard has gay links with it?
Well, no, it's because everybody's been memeing him with his beard on, so he's trying to distance himself from the memes. Pussy.
Did somebody tell him what beard means in the gay scene?
No, I didn't. I'm sure somebody did.
I don't know.
Okay,
To this day, I still cannot believe that the Republican splinter group was referring to themselves as the teabaggers without ever looking that up on Google
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Doing what?
Yes. They were the Republican Tea Party, and they called themselves teabaggers. Nobody looked up to find out what a teabagger really is. But it's funny.
Was this before
It
Urban
suits them.
Dictionary was a thing?
No. No.
No, this
This was like
just
4 or
about
5
maybe-
years ago.
Yeah, like 5 years ago.
But funny, it suits them.
Oops.
Aw, pumpkin love.
There we go.
I've just got a message about pumpkins. I'll be right back.
Oh.
There. Oops. How do
There
I?
you go.
How do I change that to transparency?
Oh.
Maybe I should have
Put it
just.
over on the other side.
Well, no, I.
Or underneath
I,
it down further.
I guess that works too.
Or move it down further.
Yeah. Well, it would have to be really down, and then you'd still see.
There you go. That's better.
Because then they're just, they're like lost lovers on the other side of the flower.
they're traveling over to meet each other.
Yeah.
And have some vine tentacles.
There we go. That's what I can. Okay, well, I'll switch. Okay, well,
And you know what two pumpkins? You know what two pumpkins say? You know what two pumpkins say when they meet up? Your place or vine?
Oh,
No, pure. If it's pumpkins, it's not tentacle sex, it's vine sex.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
Yo.
Well, everything's very vine.
Yes.
Hi.
Hey, Cirrus.
My kitty.
Oh.
Okay.
He just came to grab your pussy.
Yeah.
Oh
Trump.
my
Definitely
God.
Trump.
Anchor that. Okay, let's see.
Sir's got a new nickname. He's Mr. Trump.
Well, there's
No.
We wouldn't do that to him. We like him too much.
There we go. How's that? How's that? They got their vines. Their vines in a knot.
To be or not to be?
That is the question. Well, I'm gonna let you guys go. It's been
to
fun.
Pumpkin or not to pumpkin? That is the question.
That is the question. But I've got to stream
for Tommy
I've got
McMurtry.
to stream in a bit on my craft channel. So I'm doing audio books. I do an audio book club every Thursday night at 8 or 6 Central. 6 Central.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Today's only Tuesday.
Tuesday night at 6 Central. That's what I said.
You said, I see. I get it. Somebody started drinking early.
No, I just,
What book are you
I
doing?
always mix, I always say the wrong one first, every single time.
Right. What book are you doing?
I don't know. You guys ask the hardest questions. Like,
breathe, take a breath.
No, The Adventures of Danny Minnow Mouse.
Okay.
Well, my channel's kind of more PGE, but I was left alone to my own devices, and I finished a bunch of Shakespeare, and I was just like, this looks good. Started it up. So
somebody just asked, why do your pumpkins look like Trump? Spooky, behave yourself. You're making her cry.
Spooky.
Okay, I'm back with laughing juice.
They
What's
don't look
happening,
like
everyone?
Trump. They've got green hair, not orange.
Yeah.
What is going on, everybody?
Oh, not a whole lot. What the hell is that picture?
You don't want to know.
What do you mean?
Badger, what the hell is that?
What do you mean?
I know what it looks like.
You don't want to know.
I know what it looks. Is that what a badger dick looks like?
No comment.
See you guys.
Okay, bye,
It looks
Nadine.
more like a mushroom.
I protect the tiny eyes.
Oh, that is a badger dildo. Oh Lord, my
well,
eyes! I need to go find the bleach now.
This is one of the fine products from baddragon.com.
I need to go find some bleach now. Oh my God! Just when I thought I saw it all.
The evil cackling laughter.
Fortunately for you, you already have a bottle of bleach and an eyedropper.
Yeah, I knew there was a reason for that. Thank God.
How many different evil laughs can I do? I can. Anyone played Team Fortress 2?
No.
No.
No one?
No.
Yeah.
I really don't play video games.
Oh dear.
I'm a gamer, but I don't play that.
Okay, well, there's a character in Team Fortress 2 called the Sniper. He's a sort of Australian.
No,
he's a sort of Australian bushman type character, and he laughs like this.
Like Crash Bandicoot?
No. He laughs like this. Just let me get the voice.
Okay.
Oh, what's that? I actually do have some video scripting and stuff to do.
Okay.
For my own videos, so I can start putting content out.
Well, we're coming up to the top of the hour, so maybe we should just close this down here.
Yeah, sounds good.
I
It's
can do
almost
another
4
laugh
o'clock.
if you want.
Do it as a closing gesture. And that's the end of that.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for coming.
Good night, all.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Yep.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye to everybody in the side chat. I'm hitting the button.